I'm worried, Zaslow and Cody, that we've got too many people here today and too much show, and we've already started with Sparks because, Zaslow, could you tell what Greg was mad about, why he stormed from the room?
It's fairly obvious. He's upset that, and I'm not trying to talk as if you're not in front of me, all right, but Greg was clearly upset that none of his topics were on the billboard for the show. There's a lot to get to today. Greg specifically is upset that none of his topics are on the billboard.
Well, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but I do spend 15 or 20 minutes the very, very early morning before coming in here to write out my topics, and I send them. Now, in fairness, I didn't know Roy was going to be in that seat. I did not send them to Roy, so part of that is on me. But they need to be distributed and represented accordingly.
I saw his rage that he wasn't properly represented in the meeting when, with a sports weekend like that, you don't need anyone to come in with any topics. It's fine. We can talk about anything that happened this weekend.
That's true.
For 4 straight hours.
I'm not going to let Dan do this today. This is a big Monday. Dad, I'm sorry. I did not put your topics on. That is 1,000% on me. You work very hard on those topics.
Wow.
And I should have had them up there as soon as you were in here.
Wow, who are
That's
you?
on me. And we're going to have a great show today. I love you so much. I love working with you. Love spending time with you. You're a great person.
Wow. Who is that person?
That's an accountable Chris Cody
wow.
rising up the executive ranks at Meadowlark by taking accountability for places where he has been a bad leader or a bad organizer.
Dan, he said that so you can move the show along and get to football, not so you can stay there so you can get to the football.
The show hasn't started yet.
The shit stirring as...
The Heat got 0 votes to make the play. God, I'm just over this guy's topics.
Wait a minute. You were just nice to me.
I just can't with you.
It's a lot of good topics on the board, though, Greg.
Oh
you would admit,
God.
right?
Greg, you would admit that, look, I've never seen that Dolphin game before. That game, in my lifetime, I've been watching this team for 50 years. I've never experienced that game. I've seen them lose 62-7. But what happened yesterday puts the Dolphins like so far behind the best things happening in that sport that I could do 4 hours on the Dolphins or I could ignore them all show today.
If you did a 1 through 32 list today, Dolphins are 32, right?
I mean, everybody played close games yesterday except the Giants, the Jags, that game. All the games were close.
They're only a game back in the AFC East.
They're 2-point favorites. They're 2-point favorites this weekend.
I mean, if it wasn't for a miraculous comeback. First in the AFC East this morning. Things are looking up.
They are 2-point favorites against the Patriots this weekend.
And what does that tell you? That's worth exploring.
The whole league
What does that tell
stinks.
you?
The whole league stinks.
The whole
That's what it
league
tells
is
me.
the greatest thing we've ever seen because I certainly went into that final game last night saying, okay, well, clearly the story tomorrow is going to be the 4-time MVP. Jets Steelers, the lowest total in the sport, goes way over, is the highest scoring game because holy shit, wait a minute. Do the Jets and Steelers have offense? Because we know they both have defense. So that was pretty good offense happening to pretty good defenses. Oh, no, that's not the biggest story. The biggest story is going to happen is the punctuation to the evening when the Ravens, the most flawed, great team I've ever seen, that happens to them more often than it happens to anybody.
I love when that happens to them. I love it.
You have to love it. It happened to them 3 times
love
more.
it.
Like no other team in the sport has had it happen even 3 times as much as it's happened to Harbaugh. 8 times a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter.
I love watching them lose like that.
And talk about 2 great offenses overcoming 2 pretty solid defenses. That's another example of that, even more so for me than Pittsburgh.
All right, we're gonna
Jets.
have to start with the Dolphins, though. Go ahead, start the show.
Football is back, Jack. Oh my, we've waited for so long. We're so damn excited that we put it in a song. Don't need no checkdowns. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. Keep your fantasy team from falling off the track. When the chips are down and you throw a prayer. When your team is primed and on the hunt. It's 4th and 10, you refuse to punt. When the shoulder pads and helmets crack, that's how you know that football is back, Jack. Let me hear you say, football is back, Jack. This high is wild and out of control. And we're gonna ride it every week till we reach the Super Bowl. Don't need no check downs. Give me big hits and quarterbacks. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Football is back, Jack. Football is back, Jack. Football is back. Football is back, Jack.
I really did think that I was going to start the show today with Jet Steelers, 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers. What was that sound? What happened?
It's the Dolphins. They do it to me. Sorry, that was me.
No, there was a yeah there. Is that the end of the song? Is there like?
I don't know what that was. I was trying to just cover it up.
I thought there was a child somewhere in the studio.
It sounded like Rose. It's like,
Okay.
Well, Depeche Mode, enjoy the silence fake out.
I thought I was going to start the show today. 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers, 60-yard field goal, Jalen Ramsey at the end of that game. I didn't think anyone would feel worse today than Garrett Wilson. I thought that's the person in the sport who was going to feel the worst. Oh, my God, I dropped the ball. I don't know how the kicker from the Browns spells his name. How do we spell that last name for the Browns kicker?
Missed it.
I think that guy was going to feel really bad today, and then Jalen Ramsey does that to Garrett Wilson, and I thought that was the best game of the day. And then the night game happens. And what happens in the night game, and I gave the stat poorly before, so this has happened to the Ravens. They have lost 8 times since 2021 when in the game at the end of the game, they've got a win probability of over 90%, like they do last night in the fourth quarter where they're up 15 and Derrick Henry doesn't fumble like that. Derrick Henry is averaging 10 yards a carry. There's no way the Ravens can lose that game. They kick the Bills' ass up and down the field.
When he fumbled there, the first thought that came to my mind was, I don't think I've ever seen Derrick Henry fumble.
It happens very infrequently. It happened once last year, and I reacted as if Chewbacca had run across the field, like a space alien had appeared because Derrick Henry doesn't fumble. He was averaging 10 yards a carry in that game. 10 yards a carry. Everybody knows he's going to get the. How is that person still doing that?
Good.
How is he still? He ran through the SEC like that, and I'm like, well, that's going to carve up his body. How is that person still Earl Campbell and Ricky Williams and faster than everyone else at a size that's not normal? How is that body not breaking down?
I did a lot of thinking to myself last night during that game, you'll notice. And I also thought Derrick Henry might be the best running back ever. And I don't know that that's a crazy thing to say. Because when is he actually going to slow down? Because if he keeps doing this for years and years,
it's just lunacy, okay? At that sport, disposable position, even the Ravens got him cheap because it's a disposable position. Marion Barber, if you run like that, your career will be over in 3 years. If you are Sean Alexander and you run like that, you can't keep running like that. You cannot keep being more physical than all the young people in that sport.
Yeah, at that size, too. It's carrying your own weight. Like, Marion Barber was a very violent runner, but carrying your own weight, falling down when you're that big at that position, that also takes a toll. He's just unprecedented in that way. I understand why you want to talk about Derrick Henry, but from that game, it was pretty obvious to the eye how overwhelming Baltimore has that offense. They are so talented. You just have DeAndre Hopkins as a ball-winning role player on that team, and you just look at Buffalo, and you're like, there is quite a gulf in offensive talent between these teams, but they have that quarterback. And he was unbelievable. And really, where the game might have been won, I know there's a 15-point comeback that everybody wants to talk about. Their execution at the end of the first half, when you look at that game in totality, those are just incredible winning plays by Josh Allen, who might be the second greatest quarterback of all time, just unlucky enough to be playing in the same generation as Patrick Mahomes.
All right, I'm going to slow everything down here because when you say unlucky enough to play same generation of Patrick Mahomes empirically yards per attempt. Since he lost Tyreek Hill, only Daniel Jones throws the ball less downfield than Patrick Mahomes every time he drops back. So whatever you're remembering about what Patrick Mahomes was with Tyreek Hill, since then, he does not throw the ball down the field. And you've seen what's happened to the Chiefs since then. Everyone's caught up to them. Like, they're not going to win all those one-score games anymore because they can't get the ball downfield. But in the breaking up of the Chiefs, when Tyreek Hill was saying, we can win 7, 8 championships, him going deep all the time, and then he comes to Miami. And Miami takes the 2 years that are left of his prime, run through his body. And now what I saw yesterday was, and I am not being prisoner of the moment with this, even as Zaz says, Derrick Henry, best running back ever, and Mike's here, Josh Allen, best quarterback ever. I'm saying that Dolphin game, I've been watching Dolphin football for 50 years.
It's a horror movie.
I've never seen that game before where it's not your dad complaining. They can't stop anybody. No.
Snuff film.
They could not stop Daniel Jones and the Colts empirically, as the Colts looked like the best offensive football team there's ever been statistically that touches the ball 7 times, scores 7 times, because the Dolphins can't stop anybody, and then Tua is terrible as well. And Zaslow comes in here today, guys, on fire and wants to blow the whole thing up.
That's right. I'm glad you said that. We're starting the show today with truth bombs. That's a good place to start on a Monday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm firing Mike McDaniel. And I'm not someone who fires the coach. I'm not someone who takes the lazy approach and blames the coach. Oh, this it's on the coach. No. I've seen enough at this point. When you look at the Dolphins, is there any part of you, and we can take all of last year, and now we had 8 months to wait and look forward to yesterday. And all of the talk, all the conversation around Mike McDaniel, all the criticism, all the noise, all the culture talk, and that's the very first game? That right there is no way that anyone can look at Mike McDaniel and say, that is a coach who could take you to a Super Bowl. You cannot make that case, and if that's the case, what are we waiting for? I get rid of him today. You can't have all offseason, and that's what you put out there. I get rid of him today.
Zaslow also says it's over for Tua.
It is over for Tua, and the reason that I say that is because I think that we're going to look back, and we're all going to remember that game yesterday as we can now, like, Tua's super polarizing. I've been in on Tua. You're either in, you're out, like, very polarizing. I think we're all going to look back one day, and we're all going to remember we were all on the same page after that Colts game when it comes to Tua. There was something wrong with him yesterday. I don't know if it's because of the injuries that he's had in the past or whatever it is, but that was a really bad quarterback. That's
the worst game I've seen him play, and it's not only the worst game I've seen him play. There are some others. That Dolphin game felt like all the games when Tua's out and they have to go to the backup quarterback, and you know they're not going to get any offense. Let's examine this for a second, because I'm not being prisoner of the moment when I say that Dolphin game has never been played. It's not something any of us have ever seen. Greg Cody's been covering the team forever. You've never seen that game. Let me give you some of the stats, okay? Because they were the only team beaten like that yesterday. The only one in the entire sport, and it was Daniel Jones. Unstoppable Daniel Jones. You can tell me all you want about he's going to be improved in that offense and everything else. There was no pass rush. There was no coverage. They could not stop a team that was unstoppable for 7 drives.
We also are not mentioning and haven't taken into account that they were playing for Jim Irsay. That's true. So there was a lot of emotions running high yesterday as well, Dan.
So some stats for you. Thank you, Billy. The Colts were winless in their last 11 home openers. The 43 yards the Dolphins had in the first half is the fewest since 1991. Okay? The Colts hadn't scored, okay, on the possessions that way. Going down, the 15-play drives, they had 3 15-play drives. They had 5 all of last year. All of last year, the Colts had 5. You tell me if you guys have ever seen that Dolphin game ever played before, where you can simply not stop someone and you know you've got no chance of coming back. You're down 30-0. No, every game in that sport is close, and you're down 30-0 and no chance of coming back.
And it's a team that, like I know Greg was saying in the week leading up to yesterday, how, Dolphins, you look at the schedule, that's a game you got to win, okay? The Colts, I'm not going to say the Colts are bad. Colts were an average team last year, and you have to take that into account where they lost that way to an average team last year who, by all accounts, was being quarterbacked by a bad quarterback.
Right.
That's why I think we've never seen what we saw yesterday.
Yeah. I was in Jacksonville when they lost 62-7 in Dan Marino's last game, so I'm not going to call it the worst Dolphins performance ever. I am going to say, and I wrote in my column, I was as vicious as I can possibly be about that performance. It was inexcusable. It was sub-putrid. Every worst fear of a Dolphin fan was not only came true, but was magnified. I'm not going to equivocate how awful the Dolphins played. As I wrote, they were the week one on week one. But I'm also...
Oh, that's good.
That's
You're
a
right.
writer.
I like that.
You're
Yeah.
a writer.
He liked it so much that he waited for
Yeah,
it to land and then stumbled over his next words because he's like, yeah, I said it right.
No, when I quote myself, I like the line. But I'm also not going to see, I knew we were going to get this today, okay? I knew
What tipped you off?
I knew what I was walking into. The fact that fire everybody, fire Tua, trade this guy, McDaniel's out. I was actually making fun of that in the column about how this stink is so colossal.
Zach Wilson
that
looked decent,
it's going to be major over. Yeah, Zach Wilson went in garbage time, which describes the Dolphins' entire.
I think we should add a seventh offensive specialist, huh? Bobby Slowick. Enough. We brought in so many coaches. The same, they got you figured out, Mike McDaniel. Yeah. They got you figured out with this offense. Yeah. Show me something.
Okay, so this is the figure out. It's been crazy.
Another specialist.
The way we analyze this sport is crazy. Hey, when Tyreek's faster than everyone else, the Dolphins have great offense. And when he's not, they're fragile. But you guys are funny in that Billy and Greg said must win week one.
Well, it was. I'm sticking to that. This season's over. I'm not. Zaz is fighting everyone.
over.
I'm telling you right now, season's over.
It is over.
No,
it is.
Obviously not.
You
No,
said it was
over.
a must-win.
Yeah, it's over.
And they lost by 25.
Allow me to explain.
Do it into the mic, maybe.
I said it was a must-win from the standpoint of energizing a blasé fan base, which they failed miserably to do. But when I say this, when you all say the season's over, comical excess, comical overreaction, it does not surprise me in the least. In fact, I would have predicted that Miami would be a slight favorite at home against New England next week. Even bad teams tend to bounce back, particularly in a home opener. Dolphins have won several home openers in a row. The idea that the Dolphins are going to be 1-1 a week from now is not the least bit improbable, and I think we just have to not fire everybody and not do anything so drastic after even the worst performance.
But for you to go from must win, Greg, and me to be here saying worst. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just I've never seen that. They lost 62-7, and I think they were up early in that game. Did they score first?
No.
It wasn't what that was.
Right.
And I understand that the Jags offense, but we're talking week one on must win.
Brunel was so good. After
that game, and it's so calamitous that anyone who watched it can tell you for that day, that's the worst team in the league. The Dolphins are the worst team in the league. And I watched the Saints. Yesterday.
Carolina was pretty bad.
Yeah.
The fan base is really upset. Yeah. Dan Gnarly tweets, offense clicking, defense clicking, dead owner. So jealous of the Colts today.
Andrew Luck made a comeback yesterday.
Thank you for bringing this up, Dan. We have video. ESPN did these original, I don't even know what this is, some sort of documentary where they're just a day in the life of Andrew Luck. And what made me smile on a dark day with the Dolphins? It was that. I know we're going to get this video ready, but this is just Andrew Luck. If we were doing a parody of what Andrew Luck's Luck's life is like now, this is what it would be. Hit it, guys.
This place, it's magical.
Nerd.
What a great life I have. I get to ride my bike to work every day.
That is like a spoof. That is.
They're messing with us.
If you told me that was Mike Ryan who was doing that he was in costume and that is perfect as spoof. That bicycle, that helmet are ridiculous. Do you
An electric bike, by the way, cheating a little bit.
The Colts haven't looked as good as they looked yesterday since that guy.
It's magical.
Why was Greg screaming nerd at him?
I mean,
come on.
He's not wrong. Let's play the full thing again. I need this again in my life.
Yes, I mean, it's really good. The helmet is what you'd imagine it would be. The music isn't even something that we created. It's just the soundtrack in his head.
This place, it's magical. What a great life I have. I get to ride my bike to work every day.
Of course, Andrew Luck, when he makes a left turn on his bike, he does the hand signal.
Of course he
does.
does.
Like making the left here.
On your left.
Yeah.
On your left.
That sounds Saturday Night Live.
Right?
Mike Ryan, are you jealous of the way that he says magical when talking about Stanford and goes and gets it from the Fleming part of his joy?
It's magical.
I'm jealous I didn't think of this.
I get to ride my bike to work.
But that bike, if you had thought of it, tell me what you would have put on that bike. Maybe like one of the little bells? Like what would you have put on that bike?
Bell. That's all it's missing.
That bike,
fring, fring.
But that bike is the safest bike that's ever been ridden.
Well, the front looks like it's for a child to be sitting in. He has children.
Give it to me again. Give it to me again.
That helmet.
Place, it's magical. What a great life I have. I get to ride my bike to work every day.
I get to ride my bike to work.
And Andrew Luck did not wear a helmet that thick when he was playing football.
I think that video should have ended with two Hell's Angels running him off the road.
It's magical.
Why?
Stanford seems lovely. Like, he seems happy. We're laughing at this man's happiness.
No,
I love him.
No, jealous of his happiness. He is, look, he's got it figured out. On his very safe bicycle, no one is going to do to him what could have happened to Penix at the goal line if Penix weren't an extraterrestrial. There was so much from yesterday's football to talk about, but
it's magical.
They're 0-2, by the way, Stanford. Like, it's magical now, but buddy, you have to start being a little stressed out here.
Billy's team, look, I don't know. Billy got a lot of texts this weekend. We're not going to do a lot of college football today, although I suspect we'll make fun of the Gators a little bit. But Billy, I imagine you got a lot of texts when your team, the FIU Golden Panthers,
like the Cardinal, the FIU,
are down 10-0 at number 2 Penn State deep into the third quarter.
They had a chance to take a lead 3-0 at the beginning of that game. Willie went for it. On fourth down, within field goal range, Willie went for it, which, by the way, I co-signed on that because I was texting along. They didn't get it, but I was texting along and said, you know what? You're not going to beat Penn State playing scared. Got to go for it there. Now, granted, when you end up losing, 35-0, garbage time points, but whatever. When you end up losing 35-0, 3 would have looked nice in the scoreboard.
That was a good showing by FIU.
Hell yeah, it was. You kidding me? That was awesome.
They got some push early on.
I was getting texts from people I haven't heard from in some time saying, if FIU they cover the spread, they should cancel school on Monday. Spomani.
Am I the only one who
Everyone was watching that game for some reason. I didn't understand it. So many people were texting me about FIU Penn State. Yes, S?
Am I the only one who knows that they didn't score?
Yeah, and?
It is a little odd.
It was a good game.
Everyone just remembers that it was tightly contested for about 2.5 quarters. But
not 2.5. They were down 20-0 with like 5 minutes left in the fourth. It was a close game.
Did they lose their vote?
Everyone's like super jacked
I
to
gotta
score
check
0 points. Anytime that you can score 0 points at State College, you got to be fired up.
Has anyone ever been pleased with their performance when scoring 0 points?
It's sad. It is. And nothing personal, Billy. But when
you guys are all miserable.
For
people.
me, it's very personal.
When you're excited about losing 35-0, that's a bad sign. That's A. B. You don't think Penn State let up a little bit? They could have won 50-0 if they wanted to. Come on.
I mean, they were pouring it on at the end. They were going for style points.
Because they couldn't get them at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they were trying to score touchdowns with a minute left. It was James Franklin doing his absolute best James Franklin.
I don't want to bury Billy for being excited about his team that scored 0 points.
Bunch of people that don't want to be happy here. That's okay.
Greg, it was 35-0, but in the third quarter, it looked. Everyone was asking Billy, "Is your defense good?" That's the number 2 team in the country. It was squeezed over Arch Manning in front of right behind the defending champions. We're all assuming that's a good football team.
Okay.
And FIU goes on the road and they're down 10-0 and in the game in the third quarter.
This is the one and a great example of the one reason why I prefer the NFL over college football. In that game, there was 0 chance FIU was going to win that game.
Well, FIU played closer to Penn State than the Dolphins did to the Colts.
It was like Bethune-Cookman against Miami Hurricanes. It's just a matter of how badly are they going to lose.
Did you hear what Billy said?
Yeah, I did.
Because you're in here defending the Dolphins
it's a
today.
non sequitur. I am not defending the Dolphins today.
You said that Mike McDaniel should get promoted.
Greg, this is where the flames are on this. Pete Prisco, CBS. Quote, "The problem is Mike McDaniel. I think his seat just got really, really hot, and all the reallys are capitalized. Like both of them are capitalized, all the letters."
No duh, Pete Prisco. No duh. I wrote that in my column. By the way, I have a column on the game that you might want to read in the Miami Herald because I said exactly that. I said everybody knows Mike McDaniel came into this season coaching for his job, but nobody expected the heat to be turned up this high after one effing game. I wrote all that. I am not apologizing for the Dolphins in any way. What I'm doing is getting over the overreaction that, hey, because they lost this game the way they did, McDaniels has no future with this team. Tua's done.
They've gotten progressively worse with Mike McDaniel. From year 1 to right now, they've gotten progressively worse.
They were pretty good in year 2.
I know, I understand, but from 1, 2, 3, 4 now, they've gotten progressively worse.
Yeah, right. If you want to judge this season by one of 17 games, you're welcome.
Greg,
that's all we have.
I do think it's fair to say, with 8 months of prep and with you saying and Billy saying it was a must-win game, even though I laughed at you guys about the absurdity of that. To have the game played that way, again, everyone's watching. That's the worst team in the league. They cannot stop the Colts. It's empirical, and it hasn't been seen in the league in a long time. Like, that team had Peyton Manning. It's been like a decade since they had that kind of drive efficiency. No team in the sport scores all 7 times it touches the football. That's not a thing.
I couldn't agree more. And I want to quote myself again because you guys are saying things that I wrote as if I don't believe in all that. I'm quoting myself. I mean, seriously, Miami had an entire offseason, a whole training camp, and then a full preseason to come out like this?
What was that? Is the this capitalized?
The this is in itals. I love itals.
Itals.
Oh, yeah, I love itals.
Because
I picture the reader obeying the ital and going, like this?
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. R italics, the Lord's font.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah, we love that.
Just a quick correction. FIU only lost 34-0, not 35-0.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So
it's closer
Billy,
than
I'm sorry.
I had represented.
Billy, I'm sorry they urinated on your joy that way.
That's fine. Shula Bowl is this week.
Joy?
Greg's worried because he knows what's coming for FIU this week. The Shula Bowl. FIU, and I'm on the call, so I'm going to be talking a lot of shit to you, Greg Cody.
The prestigious Shula Bowl.
Urinated.
What gets you happy at this advanced stage in your life?
Everything gets me happy. I got a big grin on my face.
Urinated. I mean, there was a lot of pro FIU spin on that, and I think we just helpfully pointed out 0 points were
0
scored.
points.
I gotta be honest with you. The fact that you guys are this worried about FIU's successes or failures is more telling on you than it is on me. What are you guys afraid of?
Dad, can you believe
Why are you afraid to schedule FIU, Mike?
Billy being a
I've been
homer?
scheduling them since you lost FIU, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
If I remember correctly, I also would say FIU and UM have one common opponent this season, Bethune-Cookman. FIU won that game 42-9. And I believe you guys won, 45-3? Not that different, those two teams, I would say.
I don't know how good or bad, obviously, FIU is at offense.
They have a guy named Chainsaw. What are you talking about?
This is a Billy Gill specialty.
That's on defense.
This is his beat,
Cheney.
and so he can tell you how good they are.
They have
at
a
offense.
blades.
But I assume that they had 0 points in that game in the third quarter because
they were going for it. Because Willie said, you know what? Foot on the gas. We're not going to let up. We're not kicking field goals.
No.
And you know, they didn't score the touchdown, but they also didn't settle for field goals.
That's right. They said we're not kicking field goals because we're not scoring any points.
Yep, we don't want to score.
I assumed.
I feel for all of you. Honestly, you guys are sad, pathetic people.
Your team scored 0.
A lot of you. Yeah?
0 points.
How'd you have to?
Yo, I don't know why.
bitch.
We're not
They
talking
lost.
about UF, all right? We're talking about FIU right now.
Oh, okay. Hold on, everybody.
My Owls won.
Sorry, you went to Santa Fe. I
Just
forgot.
saying.
It's
Yo,
not
that's
your school.
FAU, big win yesterday.
Hoot hoot.
Or Saturday, whenever the hell it was.
Who'd they play?
I can't remember. Some bad team. FAMU, I think. A&M. The tough Rattlers. But FAU with a big win.
Why
Go
are you
Owls.
disparaging FAU?
Foul owl on the prowl. I'm not. The Owls won big. They're either 2-0 or 1-1. I gotta look that up.
I'm sorry I brought this descent of football.
I don't think you are. I think you're happy everyone's fighting with each other. I don't know what it is. We play Andrew Luck. He's so happy, and everyone's laughing at him. Then we start taking shots at each other's successes or non-failures.
You're coming at me right now.
Can we hear it again?
No, yeah. Which one, Andrew Luck?
Yeah.
Go ahead, play it again.
This place, it's magical.
Is it?
What a great life I have. I get to ride my bike to work every day.
Oh, Lord.
It's honestly how I imagined his life was. That's what he was doing in retirement. An old school educator riding his bike to campus to live the rest of his life without concussions.
It's magical.
I'm just gonna say it out loud. Riding your bike to work is not even close to as good as driving your car.
Especially in a suit.
Car is so much better than a bike. Nobody has a choice. Do you want a bike or do you want a car? And they say, you know what? I'd rather have a bike.
You really got that off your chest there. The game for the Miami Dolphins, and I will get off this subject, okay? I will get this sent off of me in 10 minutes, and we will talk about the rest of the insanity that was yesterday and the weekend. But you guys see that Orioles game? It's a good Orioles game. No. There was so much in the weekend. They were one out from being no-hit, and then they scored 4 runs.
It's football season.
Orioles
You know
game.
what?
Yeah,
Baseball.
you can cuss.
Come
What's
on.
happening right now?
Ridiculous.
We
Baseball.
will put the Dolphins, if not the season, this game in the garbage bin within the next 10 minutes. But these are some extreme opinions here that Billy and Zaz are having after week 1, and I believe they speak for the fan base. Your son is in. I see him nodding vigorously on this season is over, this team is done. There's no reason to put any hope in this particular basket, and also injuries yesterday along the offensive line and at corner. The two positions, they couldn't stop anything with those guys on the field. So, a real apocalypse yesterday. Could not have gone worse.
Their only NFL corner gets hurt. Their new offensive lineman gets hurt. Waddle turns into a piece of glass again. Every time he gets tackled, he's hurt. It's ridiculous.
And Jonnu Smith, the ball's bouncing off him, and the Steelers are winning the way they do. And Jalen Ramsey at the end of that game finishes the Jets.
And who forced the fumble on Tua? Xavier Howard. Everything went wrong for them yesterday.
Steelers are done, by the way.
What?
Yeah, Steelers are done.
Who had a better weekend, FIU or Steelers?
Hold on a minute. Let's put a bookmark in that one, Billy. I want to get all the Dolphin stuff out of here. I want nothing but Dolphins. Purge yourselves. I want to be done with this. I do not want to talk about this team all season. That was an apocalypse. It's the worst thing that can happen. Zaslow's here and he says Tua's done, McDaniel's done. And you can argue if you want, but it's the game yesterday does not provide any kind of rebuttal to what it is that Zaz is saying. Hey, coach, this thing unrebuttable. This thing collapsed on McDaniel yesterday. They're a 2-point favorite next weekend against the Patriots.
Right. Welcome to the NFL. You look like shit one week.
Whoa.
You win the next week, and all your fans are going, all right, okay.
Yeah, then you have the Bills on
We had a
Thursday Night
bad
Football.
first game. Now we're back. Okay, calm down. I'm just saying, I'm predicting that's what's going to happen.
But, Greg, that's the reaction if they lose 26-24. Not like that.
None of the fans are going to have that reaction you just portrayed if they win next week against them again. None of them.
Okay.
Greg,
I disagree.
Greg, there's no dispute on what I'm saying. You can say one game at a time. You can say the NFL is unpredictable to week. If what we're looking for is what will the Dolphins look like next week, what they just looked like is as bad as it could have looked.
Yes, it is.
There's nothing. I don't know how you have it being worse. The first half is something that hasn't happened to them offensively in 30 years.
Right. And when you say I don't know how you have it worse, I don't have it worse. Quit trying to say that I'm apologizing for that performance. It was so putrid that the 30-8 score flattered the Dolphins.
There's nothing that could have happened yesterday.
Their performance was worse than that score.
So nothing could have happened yesterday to push you off being
Tua gets
optimistic.
injured. Tua also gets injured.
Okay, what? I'm not optimistic about the Dolphins.
You just said they're going to win on Sunday and everything's going to be fine.
I said I'm not the least bit surprised that they're a 2-point favorite because that's the way the NFL works.
The line went down since I said it, 1.5.
Okay, there you go. And New England might be favored by next Sunday.
A lot of action on the Patriots.
Yeah, but that 1.5 you told us last week really means that the Patriots are 1.5 point favorite because you get 3 points when you're at home. So the Patriots are technically favored.
All right, well, we'll see at kickoff.
Maybe the Colts are just the new Chiefs.
It's possible.
Have we thought about that?
Time will
No.
tell.
Daniel Jones, the new Mahomes.
Daniel Mahomes.
That would make me feel better. If they turn out to be like a 15-2 team, I'd be like, oh, okay.
No, there's no feel better on they have the ball 7 times, they score 7 times, and Peyton Manning didn't do that in that uniform. I don't know. We knew defense was going to be a problem, and then you're saying to yourself before the game, if we want to do analysis, hey, their front 7 might cover up the corners they don't have. They've got the worst corners in the league. Oh, my God, there's no pressure. Oh, my God. Oh, Daniel Jones is just going to do whatever he wants all game. And they're not going to be able to stop them in any way, in a way that has not been seen in Dolphin football in my lifetime covering them. And statistically, when you go through the numbers, there haven't been a lot of football games where any offense has ever looked as good as Daniel Jones's did yesterday not because Daniel Jones is so good in his first game with the Colts, because the Dolphins looked that bad. It could not have been worse, I'm telling you, unless Tua had gotten a concussion.
I just don't know how you come back from, Greg. One of the biggest problems with the team last year was it felt like the rest of the league had kind of caught up to McDaniel in the offense. And we'd like to do the whole, he's not making adjustments, this, that. All right, week-to-week basis, I guess. But at least here, before this season, you have an entire off-season to do something different,
Right.
okay?
So I wrote.
And it felt the same as last year, where the offense is totally inept again. And that wasn't. Now, look, maybe the Colts defense will be good this year. They were terrible last year.
Well, wait a minute. Time out. They were 8-9 last year.
But their defense was terrible.
That's not terrible.
But their defense was terrible.
Don't talk like they were 3-14. They were 8-9. They missed the playoffs by 1 game.
I think their defense was ranked 29th last year, though. Again, maybe their defense will be good this year,
Right.
but that was a terrible defense last year.
Okay, it was very bad defense last year.
And that's why I'm totally out on Mike McDaniel at this point. You can't have the offseason with all of the chatter, and then this is what we get right out the gates. I don't have
agree.
any faith. I don't have any faith in him being able to solve the problem.
Let's bring in another specialist, I think.
The blame starts with Chris Greer, who knew 4 months ago that he had an awful cornerback situation and didn't do anything to fix it other than signing the ghost of Rasul Douglas just before opening day. That's a big problem. The offensive line has been a problem for years. Everybody knows Tyreek Hill is getting slower and probably will be traded by midseason. There were problems that they failed to address that don't come right to Mike McDaniel's lap.
What do you do with all of this? Tua finished with a QBR of 2.7 out of 100, okay? McDaniel entered the season as the betting favorite to be the first coach fired, and now that rises. We're in agreement on that,
Right.
yes? And right before the game, Tim Reynolds, 4 minutes before kickoff, my official Dolphins prediction, 11-6 wild card. Admittedly, I'm not the brightest dude sometimes, but I think they're better than most people expect. At this point, okay, and I watched the Saints play yesterday. At this point, there is no team in football. I watched the Carolina Panthers play yesterday. I saw the New York Giants play yesterday. There is no I saw the Titans of Cam Ward play yesterday. There is no team in professional football that had a more apocalyptic beginning than the Miami Dolphins yesterday.
Correct.
They looked like a minor league team trying to play professional football when you paired it against what was happening in the rest of the league. All of the close games everywhere. Everyone is a bounce away, except in this one place where you're just seeing every single time it's Colts marching down the field and Dolphins being more inept than they've been since since 1991.
Yeah, 11 of the 15 games were one-score decisions. The Dolphins unequivocally played the worst of any team on opening day.
They didn't lose a preseason game.
Right. And the perfect season Dolphins had a losing record.
Exactly.
In the
So.
But the question going forward is, are we burying the entire season based on a terrible...
You said it was a must-win. So what has to happen?
I said it was a must-win, not for the season, for the confidence and faith of the fans. It was a faith-quaking performance. If you're a Dolphin fan right now, you guys are the majority in saying, trade him, fire him. You guys are the majority.
Did you see the rumors of who's going to replace McDaniel?
I'm trying to be the VOR here.
Gruden.
Oh, God.
Let's do a top 5 quarterbacks
God.
that Chris Cody, your son, is ready to replace Tua with right now if he could get the option of replacing him right now.
First, I got OLI. These are ones that I feel like are obvious. Like,
Are these guys who are like available? Is that
No,
what
I mean,
you're
these are just quarterbacks in the league that I just right now give them to me over Tua.
Wow. So
I like
Josh
it.
Allen. Okay.
These first ones, OLI, are obvious. Like, I don't think I'll have any pushback here. Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Cam Ward, and Bo Nix.
Hold on.
Drake May, Michael Penix Jr., Cam Ward, and Bo Nix. Those are OLI. Like, those are just easy. I would do that right now.
Cam Ward was getting hit yesterday, man.
Number 5, J.J. McCarthy. Haven't seen him yet. I'll roll the dice.
He's literally never played a game.
Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. I'll take 1 year with Aaron Rodgers, and then I'll take Nussmeier next year. I don't give a shit. Number 3, Justin Fields. I said he should have been the backup a year ago. He looks better than Tua did. Number 2, Joe Flacco. Same thing as Aaron Rodgers. I'll take 1 year with Joe Flacco. Give me Nussmeier. I'm done with it.
No.
Joe Flacco is better out of the pocket than Tua is. I'm telling you. And number 1, Arch Manning. I'll roll the dice. I don't give a shit. I'm done with Tua.
He can't play quarterback right now.
He will next year.
What about Tannehill? You didn't mention him. He's out there.
I would sign up for Arch Manning right now ahead of Tua.
Tannehill.
Bold take out of you.
Did you know Tannehill was a wide receiver in college?
Tannehill's out there.
Available.
He has toes for thumbs.
The press box has changed. But Mike said it best. The press box has changed. I mean, seriously, get over yourself. We're going to talk during the post game. Tim Reynolds, enough. I mean, enough.
I mean,
seriously.
you just got to know when
You're
the
not
Dan
allowed to cheer in the press box. Did you know that?
Well, I did.
They were cheering for Will Manso. I think that's allowed.
And Goldie.
If the Dan Le Batard Show comes to a hockey press box, hilarity is going to ensue.
Yeah.
They're going to yell at Will Manso for 7 minutes, and you're probably going to have to go to a
7
stairwell
seconds.
to write, man.
If it was 7 minutes, I'd get it. It was
is what
7
it is.
seconds.
Exactly. I mean, David, everyone else was saying hi. They were enjoying the show. They were laughing at us. But one guy is still clutching on to his newspaper deadline.
I'm a little
and it's
disappointed.
Tim Reynolds.
And is he your demographics, too?
I don't know.
I happen to like Tim a lot, and
Enough of him.
I imagine this was going to be like E.J. Raddick or something, but that's just a bad look for Tim Reynolds.
Listen, I went up to him afterwards.
This was the best part. Stugotz
Yes.
is like, I've known Tim for years. I'm going to go fix this. He walked to Tim and walked right back very quickly.
Yep.
It was a very quick interaction.
Well, he was writing. Okay?
He's on deadline. It's
Enough of the deadline.
It's a
We're
work.
on deadline, too.
defend him.
We're on deadline. I gotta get home. I feel like playoff hockey. I got to get home. I mean,
Yeah, we're on deadline, too. We got to get that post game out.
It is a working press box. Tim Reynolds is a journalist who's trying to write, and Stugotz is back there. Hey, Will Manso!
that was Chris and Goldie. Don't leave out Goldie.
We're on deadline, too. They're going to kick us out of that press box a lot sooner than they'll kick out Tim Reynolds, who's just typing away. That's just
Those writers had their game stories done before the end of the
Precisely.
game.
Yeah, a good writer, right.
Oh,
What happened there? I apologize to him. I mean, Cody was done. He was out of there. I mean, you know.
What was that interaction like, Stugotz? Take us behind the scenes. You walk up to him, you say what, he says what?
I said, Tim, I apologize. That's on me. I should know better. Not Chris, okay? I should know better. I've been in press boxes before. I know you have a deadline. I apologize. And he said, that's fine. Just, try to keep it down.
That is way too long.
That was
Way
much
too
longer
long.
than the actual
He's on
conversation.
deadline.
I always extend it a little bit. I mean, you guys
Can we
know that.
call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the
Don't,
interaction was
no,
like?
no.
Bring Cody's.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show at Stugotz is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
I am interested in talking to the group about what were the big takeaways from the weekend, because in professional football, just a terrific week one. Crazy, the end of the 1 o'clock hour games, and the last game would be the best of the games, is football reintroducing itself to us in the most seismic way possible. It's a very well-run league. The teams are very competitive with each other. The games matter, and Sundays are holidays around here, and college football even got engulfed this weekend because it didn't have anything as interesting as what it is that was happening yesterday. So many interesting things that I'm putting low on the list. Woo, the Packers bullied the Lions there, and Micah Parsons is a defensive player anybody would want to have, and good God, the Packers dragged the field with, listen to this stat. There have been 3 quarterbacks ever who have won 13 games in a season with 2 different teams. It's Brady, it's Manning, and it's Goff. It's Goff. And Detroit, for all its offense, was ransacked by a Packers defense that I thought was plenty good last year and now has Micah Parsons.
Tonight will be interesting because you got Bears-Vikings tonight, and if the Bears offense is good, Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson, then the chatter is going to ratchet up a bit about Detroit no longer.
But the Packers bullying the Lions, to me, is still low on the list of, like, biggest things in the league to talk about today. And I'm including the Chiefs from 3 days ago in here.
They stink.
The Steelers winning a game that they haven't been capable of in a couple of years, getting that performance from their quarterback, and that quarterback being Aaron Rodgers at his former team, that was really interesting to see because Aaron Rodgers was really good, and so was Justin Fields. We all assumed that game was going to be ugly, a get out of the stadium alive game.
It was the lowest total of the weekend, right?
37.5. 37. No one expected offense from that game, and then all of a sudden you get offense.
Awesome.
And both of those teams, their defenses are good. So if you're getting good offense, it's not because the defenses are suddenly bad.
And much like college football gets drowned out, not a lot of John Mateer conversation on this show because he looks like the real deal over at Oklahoma. But I think Friday's game was really interesting, really good. And while the Chiefs are expected to fix that offense without Rashee Rice being suspended early on in the season and a shoulder dislocation for Xavier Worthy, there's talk he may need surgery. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. Those are guys that take the deep shots downfield.
Are we sure the Chiefs are fixing this offense?
I thought Justin Herbert also looked outstanding. The Chargers looked formidable.
Before the fourth quarter yesterday, the Harbaughs looked like they had the two best teams in the sport. Like in terms of just everything that you were watching and what they did to the Chiefs, how they did it to the Chiefs, we can assemble the argument, could we not? That right up until the end of that game yesterday, and now the thing falls a little bit on Harbaugh, even though Derrick Henry fumbled. The Ravens were, all of us saw this, correct? Going on the road, we're watching football, we're watching it from Eagles, Cowboys. If you're saying who was the best team in the sport, until 4 minutes in last night's game, all of us are saying the Ravens, correct? Mm-hmm. Who looks like the best team in the sport?
Colts.
Okay, maybe Packers, maybe Colts, fair enough. But the seismic nature of football returning, ending with that game played that way, that the photo that you have at the end of your Football in America night is Josh Allen being carried off by his teammates because we're all watching, hey, the MVP doesn't have enough. The Ravens are better, but they've got the MVP. And so now we're watching a unicorn and centaur run around in the backfield for the Bills, and the Ravens are better. And we know the Ravens are better, and you can't expect Josh Allen to always do that at the end of games. It's not a reasonable request.
Well, sort of. Not in the Super Bowl, though.
It's not a reasonable request. Don't say sort of. They've never won anything. They haven't even gotten to a Super Bowl. Like, look, Greg.
I mean, the Ravens and the Bills suffer from the same malady, which is they're both great teams. They both have great quarterbacks. How about you win something?
We'll get to football in a second. Roy, why are you laughing?
Your head going into your hand.
I'm going to tell you why. Because I've done this show for a long time. Greg Cody, print journalist, looks down on all of us, fans included.
Especially me.
This room is still reeling. The room is still reeling from the number of times you hit both me and Zaslow in the face last segment with the wet fish of, if you read my column.
Yeah, right. Because my column was about the most vicious column I'm able to write. And so I don't want anyone to think that I'm letting the Dolphins off lightly just because I say it's one game. Okay, it can be both. You can exoriate the Dolphins for a absolutely hapless, hopeless performance and still think, but it's only one game.
Yeah, but next week, at home versus the Patriots, I mean, they are a slight favorite. You think that's a get back on track game, right?
It better be.
So that's 1-1. Then you have at the Bills on Thursday night.
Yeah, no chance.
Okay, so that's 1-2. Then the new look Jets.
No, I'm not going to let you do this,
Fields.
Billy. I'm not going to let you sneak one of these in.
Justin Fields.
Okay, all right.
I'm just trying to figure out. That feels like it could be a loss, and you're staring down the barrel of 1-3 if you beat the Patriots. You could be sitting at 0-4, and then the Panthers is a get-back game.
Yeah, they could go 0-17.
After the Panthers is the Chargers. The Chargers, really Dan just said, they look like one of the best teams.
Look,
that's a win. Then the Browns. The Browns is anyone's guess. Is Flacco going to be healthy?
Yeah,
we don't know. At Atlanta, then versus the Ravens,
Atlanta
then the Bills
good.
again, Commanders.
Yeah, 0-17.
I mean, you may be looking at the Saints. And the Saints honestly looked like they had a shot yesterday.
Is that a win?
I'm not sure.
The Saints?
I think I'm going to be in Atlanta for that game.
Really?
Why?
Oh, wow. Stop the presses. Chris is going to Atlanta for that game.
Oh, shit.
If you want to see Chris, he might be there.
Dolphins, Falcons.
Well, you were talking about the Saints.
Yeah.
This is the easiest part of the Dolphins' schedule.
Didn't you say 7-1, Dad? What'd you say?
Yes.
No, what I said was the first 8 games.
All right,
gave
I'm
me
not doing this
optimism.
anymore. Get the Dolphins stink out of here. Look, I was mad. I was mad yesterday at that Jags-Carolina game and the weather because all of a sudden that scent is lingering into my 4 o'clock games. Get out of here with that game. Jags, Panthers, please end at 4 o'clock. Don't stay around. Don't be third quarter in the middle of my 4 o'clock games. Enough with your.
What was that? Was it like a weather delay or something?
Yes, weather delay. One of a couple of weather delays.
Screwing up my YouTube TV. It's like I had a nice 4-game plan here.
2 things, though, locally that we did not get to that I did want to get to. One, Cam Ward's debut. He made a couple of the throws that you want made. And now after the game, there's being talked about, well, Calvin Ridley, he doesn't have to put that much zip on it. He has to put less zip on the football, but Cam Ward made a couple of the throws that could have kept the Titans a little closer than the 8-point result looked like because the Titans were in that game and Cam Ward looking competent in the first game out. I don't want people to take for granted a guy coming out in his first game just because we've got used to like fast-forwarded learning curves on quarterbacks and on the road at Denver with the team that everyone was talking about, Sean Payton and Bo Nix. They turned the ball over a ton and still won by 8 points. Like, they turned the ball over. But Cam Ward's competence was encouraging if you're from Miami.
Yeah, and that was a prism. And it took me by surprise. I knew I was going to be pro Cam Ward, but I was on the edge of my seat this entire game, demanding players make a play for him. Look, it wasn't perfect by Cam Ward. Look, they didn't score touchdowns.
He wasn't throwing the ball and completing it down the field.
Receivers got to make some plays for the guy, too. I do think that, especially on those seam routes, some touch could have been there. And the loopty shit that you got away with the best offensive line in college football last year, it's not going to be the same. But I would say that most people entering this season would have told you Denver's the best defense in the league. That is historically a really difficult place to play opening week at Mile High, especially when they have a defense like this. He was Tennessee's best player on offense. They got issues along that offensive line. He's got to help them out a little bit more. His receivers have to help him out a little bit more. But I thought that was very encouraging. I think he's going to be just fine.
But that's a low. I don't want to be the guy criticizing everything. But that's
except the Dolphins.
Okay,
yeah.
but when
that's where you draw the line.
When we say Cam Ward had a great game, it's based on low expectations, based on how good Denver's defense is.
For the record, no one said Cam Ward had a great game. They scored 0 touchdowns.
Just competent.
Okay, he was 12 for 28. He averaged 4 yards.
How many drops?
A
lot of drops.
A lot of drops.
A lot of drops and a lot of plays just not made. And especially on that last drive, like everybody was keeping an eye. Like, can Cam do this? Can Cameron do this with no timeouts? He had the ball way too many times on the opposing end to not come away with points. He took those loopy sacks. Right. He's got to clean that up, and he will learn to clean it up. But I was encouraged by it.
On 3rd and 10, driving on enemy territory with a 1-possession game, he made the throw you need to throw to Calvin Ridley, and Calvin Ridley was pretty good at catching footballs. It had too much on it for Calvin Ridley. And it's a fair complaint if you watched any part of that game. 2 things became obvious. One of the things that Mike's talking about, the loop-de-loop in the backfield, that's not going to happen anymore. So you either learn very quickly to move up and shoot up through the center of your pocket and use your athleticism, or you don't. I think he'll learn it. It's one game. It's one game on the road under difficult circumstances. His team's not very good. That defense, everyone expects something from, and it has the defensive player of the year. He didn't make the kind of mistakes that cost you the game, and at the end of the game, he made the throw to Calvin Ridley that you have Calvin Ridley in order to make that catch at this point in his career.
I would say he did make some mistakes there that didn't help Tennessee win that game, but he was the best player that they had over there. Talking point from this game, if I may, who would you rather have going forward, Bo Nix or Cam Ward?
Wow.
Either of them.
Well, the thing that happens with that, though, is that people are pairing now Bo Nix and Sean Payton as if that's a magical sprinkle juice that you can throw on something and it'll be better than all of the other. I don't believe that, but people are believing that because they saw a pretty quick jump, or what they think was a quick jump, from Denver last year. Again, that game somehow, to me, low on the list of games from yesterday. Can we, for just a moment, examine how the evening ended, okay? Because it's an insanity for the Ravens, a team we all know to be good and one of the best franchises for the last 15 years, to again have a 90% win probability, up 15 all game, and obvious to the eye, better than any team in the sport that you've watched for the last 3 days.
Dan, I have a question. What is sprinkle juice?
Yeah, that's an odd one.
That is a good question.
Hell is sprinkle juice.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Are you like watering? Is this watering something?
You got like liquid on your hands. You just like
it's either juice or sprinkling.
Or magic dust.
Are they sprinkles on ice cream?
Dust.
Is it a liquid?
It's magical the way Andrew Luck is magical riding his bicycle through your future. It's
great diversionary tactic. Yes,
It's magical.
Show me again.
It's magical sprinkle juice. The insanity of yesterday. You guys would agree to have it punctuated that way. To go from Cowboys, Eagles play the game they played. Chiefs, Chargers play the game they played. The 1 o'clock games end with insanity happening and Aaron Rodgers and the Jets in the middle of all the games, one score, everything. Then you get to 4 o'clock. Then you get to the night game, and the night game is better than any of it.
Can we play a new segment called A Moment of Truth? Ooh. All right, so this is how a moment of truth works. So we come on here, and obviously we're experts on every sport because we watch every game of every sport. So we know everything about every sport, every game of every sport, because that's what our profession is. So we come on and we talk about every game of every sport because we watch every game.
That's what being an expert's about.
Exactly, every game of every sport. We have nothing else going on in our lives but to watch every second of every game of every sport, college included, which is a tall task on Saturdays because there's a lot of college games. But rest assured, audience, we watched every second of every game of every sport. A moment of truth. I fell asleep with 5 minutes left in the game last night. I said, you know what? This game's over. And I fell asleep. And that was my moment of truth.
Well, did you fall asleep or did you say this game's over, I'm going to sleep?
It's a great question. So I moved from the front part of my manor towards the back part of my manor, and I was watching it in bed as my wife was doing, I don't know, preparations for the kids for tomorrow or whatever. And I turned it on, and I was laying down, and I was watching. But I will, moment of truth, I was dozing a bit. I was dozing.
I think it's fair, Billy. I think you're allowed to be tired as a father from all the football.
I was dozing. So then my wife came in, and then I said, is this a battle worth having, keeping the television on, knowing I'm probably going to fall asleep, or do I turn it off? And at that point, glasses had come off.
Oh, no.
Glasses were off, so I was doing a lot of listening, and then I was seeing a lot of blurry colors running back and forth into each other, around each other, what have you. But it was blurry, and I was just listening. Took off the glasses, put them on the nightstand in the manor, and my wife said, "Are you still?" I was like, "I'm watching." And she said, "Are you sure?" I said, "No, this one's over." And I turned it off, and then I turned over. And that was my moment of truth.
I have 2 moments of truth.
Oh, you got one.
Yeah,
2?
I got
yes,
2.
I'm
sleeper. Sorry.
Yeah.
Number 1, I didn't watch a single second of Cam Ward on Sunday.
So.
Number 2, I did the exact same thing as Billy. There's 4.5 minutes left.
God.
It's a 40-25 lead. I even remember thinking to myself, the Bills would have to score 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points, whatever, and just no way.
2-point conversion.
They missed a 2-point conversion prior, and I was like, now this is too much.
And then so I trusted the Ravens.
I like this segment. A moment of truth, like where it is that you didn't have enough to see everything that you're talking about, so you're blustering your way through it. This is where Stugotz's disagreements with Wilbon begin and end. Like, I think Stugotz has more right than wrong in him on the Wilbon feud when he says Wilbon pretends like he's seen all the games because he talks as if he's seen all the games.
Anyone that's heard Mike Wilbon talk college football knows this. Moment of truth for me. I did doze off. I saw the comeback. I saw the big play. But I did learn this morning that Derrick Henry fumbled because I was asleep there at that point.
I mean, I saw the end of the game. I saw it this morning. I was like, crap, how did this happen? Now I need to go back and watch this. And so I had to go back and watch it.
I think it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. Put it on the poll. Truth. You fell asleep and called the game over last night with 5 minutes left. Yes or no? Like, because I think you're in the majority, not the minority. I think that's a reasonable, especially the way the Ravens looked all game. Like, under what circumstances are they getting stopped? Under what circumstances is Derrick Henry fumbling? Like, they've got a win probability that makes it so that they are somehow the only team that always gets in that position and the team that blows it in that position most often. Like, in the sport, it has happened 8 times since 2021 where they've got a 90% win probability and they blow the game. No other team has had it happen 6 times.
I have a moment of truth.
Oh.
If I didn't have money on the game, I would have fell asleep.
Oh.
Gambling.
Oh, but Roy got the bad beat. This has got to be the most common of the bad beats, right? This happened to me 2 or 3 times last season with Mahomes.
Yeah, I had 2 bets on the game. One of the bets were on the Ravens. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. Lamar Jackson, over 1.5 touchdowns. That didn't hit. Derrick Henry rushed yards and Lamar
Don't care
Jackson
about all your other bets. Couldn't care less.
Yeah, well, the one touchdown didn't hit. That cost me $200. But
okay,
anyway.
don't care.
Let's get to the interesting
stuff. The bad beat is the
I don't know. I like the nuts and bolts.
I don't know why you would think all your bets are interesting or why anybody
Well,
would
because
care
I'm
what
talking
other-
the show, so
Wait, did you have anything in the early window?
No,
I don't care. I don't care.
What was
Just give
your,
me
your
the bad
Saturday
beat.
action like?
I didn't have anything on Saturday.
Anything going on in Russian hockey or anything we should be aware of?
Anything?
Not yet.
Okay.
Panthers back in 2 weeks.
I like the Hawkinson overs tonight. You want a tail?
Yeah, I think I gotta get my money back.
All right,
anyway.
cool. Swing back
yeah,
over to
so,
Zaz. That was good.
Yeah, so the bad beat was I had Josh Allen over 1.5 touchdowns, over 231.5 passing yards.
Anytime
and
touchdowns or passing touchdowns with that 1.5?
Anytime touchdowns.
Oh, that's crazy.
And he hit that. But over 34.5 rushing yards. And that's what got me because he knelt down 3 times and lost 5 yards.
I'm sorry, pal.
Yeah. That hurt. That hurt.
Sorry. What do you think J.J. McCarthy's going to do tonight? He's got a young quarterback. Say lean on the tight end. This is where I like Hawkinson.
Chris Cody wants already J.J. McCarthy over Tua. He has bailed. The other local story that I did not get to in the local hour, and I should have because somehow it resonated across the entire pop culture sphere. It is so strange to me, the moments like this that end up catching. A friend of mine mentioned this morning saying that after this scorned child at a Marlins game had a ball taken away from him, and you just saw from every camera angle possible, somehow, a woman behaving in a way that was so foul and so grotesque that the internet recoiled, and the Marlins ran out and gave this child a basket full of gifts, and they should have given this woman like a car or something for bringing this much attention to the Marlins on a football Sunday, to bring this kind of attention because this woman was terrible, and the man, her father, brings the child, his son, a baseball, and then the woman just takes it from him, berating him. Billy, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing?
I'm getting confused. This is what happened. A home run was hit by one of the Phillies, and then there were Philly fans there. A dad runs over, grabs the ball, gives it to his son. They're celebrating. Then this crazy woman goes by and starts screaming at him in his face. The man jumps backwards when she tapped him on the shoulder because he was taken aback. He was surprised by what was happening. Then she was yelling at him, that's my ball, or something like that. And then finally this man who was embracing his son hugged him even because he was so loving of his son and so happy to share this moment. Just says, you know what, fine, take it, and brushes her away, takes the ball out of his glove, and then gives it to this woman who people are calling Philly's Karen.
Thank you, Billy. That was very good. You
It
did it
was
much
very
better
good.
than us.
Yeah.
And then that's when things got interesting because then the camera saw it, and then this was going around on the interwebs, and people were getting very mad. Which, by the way, they still have not found who this Philly's Karen, as they've named her, is. But the father has gone and he's done interviews with his children, but we still don't know the identity of this Philly's Karen. But more videos have come out from different angles where there's people behind where you can hear her screaming at the child. Then there's another video from the top where people are booing this Phillies fan, and she's giving them the middle finger.
Oh, yeah. She's giving everyone around the middle finger while holding up the ball.
Yeah, she was a bit, some are saying, unhinged. I don't know exactly what was going on there, but the Marlins gave them all these goodies, and then after the game, he met the Phillies player that hit the home run, who signed a bat for him, and they all went out. And you know what? I think the biggest trauma of all is that at the end of the day, they're still Phillies fans.
And the guy did nothing wrong.
It's a lot of soft energy there with that guy, though.
Well, wait a minute. Says the father whose teenage son calls him sugar tits.
Okay, but when it came down to it, I beat his ass. I'm still man of the house.
What are you implying the guy should have done there? Let's talk this out.
Yeah, no.
Stand on business.
I'll tell you what he said.
I will tell you a couple things he should have done.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll get to that in a second because everyone's doing this one too today. How meek of that man to feel in today's America like he doesn't have quite a lot of options here on optics as he's being berated for taking a baseball from someone who believes, and everyone believes that she does it, that's been wronged. And then when we have 40 different camera angles, everyone realizes, wait a minute, this woman's she's just romping all over the arena, grabbing baseballs and making up stories, and everyone sees her unmasked. And it's the way this thing ends up going viral because everyone, no matter your political leaning, is appalled by the behavior of this woman. Everyone.
If she has a kid with her, maybe I'll give her a little leeway. But no, there's no kid with her. He doesn't rip it out of her hand. It's a scrum. The ball's on the ground.
It's not even in her row. It's actually in his row.
Exactly.
But what options does he have there? Like, I know a lot of people are
not
examining.
Give her the ball.
Yeah, not give the ball.
Okay.
Yeah, get out of my face.
Okay.
The ball was
That's
in
the
my
option.
son's mitt.
Okay.
Not give her the ball.
I would have done what he did. Just the pat, okay, you want this? It's that important to you? Go ahead. I think he played it perfectly.
Not me.
She tried to grab him.
What are you going to do,
did.
Zaslow?
She did. That's assault.
You're just
it's not about what I'm going to do. It's what I'm not going to do. And that's take the ball out of my son's mitt and give it to her. That's definitely what I'm not doing.
Okay. And
Greg Cody is for sure not giving up the ball.
Hell no.
That's for sure.
She was not entitled to the ball based on what I saw.
Look, the way that I'm looking at that, and forgive
She
me,
seemed plenty entitled.
I don't have kids, okay, but I'm looking at a father in the middle of that who is embarrassed that he's in the middle of a scene that was just lovely for him a second ago because he was bringing his child a ball, and now he's in the middle of being yelled at by somebody. And while all of you, I get it, in retrospect, oh, he looked meek, or oh, come on, buck up. I understand how he might want that whole commotion to get away from his son because already what was a beautiful moment has been ruined. And now also we're going to emasculate him today because, hey, Dad, we would have done it better. We would have never given him the ball. Okay, I get it. I understand how it is. All of us would arrive at armchair quarterbacking, even that one.
Dolphins played fine, but that guy should have done it differently.
But that woman, everyone is pouncing on her because everyone sees, oh, you put Dad in a bad spot and you ruined that kid's feel good.
And you didn't have a kid with you. The balls are for the kids. Yeah. It's just like if there's a rule at baseball, you give a ball to the kid.
I was thinking to myself, or after the game, or after that happened, that woman right there, I mean, she looks like she's probably like in her 50s, so she probably has a son or a daughter for that matter. And that son or daughter is seeing these replays. Someone like, oh my God.
But what
Mom,
kind?
what
Look, I don't know what if. Look, again, I'm not a parent, but what do you want to show your child in that moment? And today, that child wins. Correct?
Totally.
That kid. Yeah. That kid wins. I don't know if you want any of this kind of attention around any of it, right? Like, because about any of you. I don't think if you're dad, if you're her, or if you're the kid, you actually want the attention that ends up coming from this. You might want the gifts, but I don't know about how you guys feel about it, but this incessant sort of energy of people need to argue about everything on the internet and then things on the internet becoming real to a woman like this who's now going to be shamed pretty provocatively by people who are mean,
right,
who will come at her for their variety of reasons that just turns all of this into an avatar where sports spills into, politics.
And it wasn't even, yes, she is being shamed and it's going to continue being shamed for her, but it wasn't even like she reacted poorly in a moment, in an instance. It was so much carrying on. Like, it was the whole yelling to get the ball, and then it was all the interactions afterward. Like, it was a whole thing with this woman. It wasn't even just like in a split second I behaved poorly.
I think it's pretty easy to determine what the guy should have done. If I'm in the middle of that scrum going for the ball, as the guy who walked away with the ball, if I realize, you know what, she had the ball and I took it out of her hand, then I'm probably going to give it back.
Yeah.
If I have every bit as much entitlement to that ball, if not more, as she does, I'm going to turn around on her and say, get out of my face. You did not get that ball. I got that ball.
According to the timesofindia.com, there are two women who have now come out and denied being Philly's Karen. One of the rumors had a school district denying that they employed said Philly's Karen, that person is not an employee of theirs, and they had not fired said employee because rumors were going around that Philly's Karen had lost her job in the school system, which I think some of us, I don't know if we can all agree, I think some of us would agree that's probably a bit much, firing a person over this incident. But
this is what social media and the internet do, right? Like, it's as if she robbed a bank. It's as if there's grainy footage of this woman running out of a bank with two big bags of money.
Look, just so that you understand what this public shaming just does to people, her life will feel ruined to her. Like, we can say it's not, but her life will feel ruined to her for however long this lasts. And we can dismiss that and say that that's a silly thing to think, but in your football Sunday for this to make a live wire appearance on, let's all hate this person together. That feels good, shaming her for what is clearly bad behavior. I know it shows no perspective to say her life will be ruined, but it'll feel that way to her.
Yeah, but she brought it on herself. The sheer entitlement.
Well, that's what everyone is going to say.
Insane behavior.
That is correct. It is insane behavior.
I feel like if you behave that way, you probably don't look back and see the video and think oh, I was wrong. I feel ashamed of this. I feel like you probably are surrounded by people who are like mine. Are like, yeah, that's your ball. Like, you didn't do anything wrong.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't like a singular second where she behaved poorly. It was so much carrying on. Like, I don't think this woman looks back at it and says, wow, I regret this.
You do see sometimes where there are fights over balls and stuff like that, where then the peer pressure around you is like the guy, for instance, just gave her the ball because maybe I was wrong, I'll give her the ball, right? Where fans are booing whatever, then the person's like, you know what, you're right, and they go and they give the ball back. But this person then went and was giving people the middle finger, was egging on the crowd, so clearly she did not think she was in the wrong at all.
I don't want to go too much further today. Forgive me for this because I'm sure we will be enveloped throughout the show, all football things.
You're thinking Dolphins at Jets, December 7th. We didn't get to that.
Yeah, we haven't quite gotten to that.
That one might be a trap game. After that's at Steelers, so it could be a look-ahead trap game. And then the Bengals. Hosting the Bengals in December. Woof.
This might be the softer part of their schedule. Saints, Jets, Steelers, Bengals.
Bengals looked, gettable yesterday.
Joe Burrow against those cornerbacks.
Is that 1-3?
You mentioned the Bengals. I don't know on the list of goats. How do we spell? Can anyone here spell the name of the Browns kicker? It's got a Y, a Z, and a K in it, and one vowel, and I don't know how to say it or spell it.
Missed it.
I don't think that's correct. I don't know. Can any of you spell it? Because if
SMYZT.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Would any jury convict today Myles Garrett, who almost had 3 sacks on 3 straight plays and a safety on one of them, if he missed it with his bare hands? Just with his bare hands, if he just I'm not saying that it ends in death. I'm just saying that if we had video today of Myles Garrett choking his kicker by the throat, and again, no harm done, it's just bad optics, all of us would say yes, of course, we understand. Everybody understands. Put that off to the side. Put Bengals in another slow start. And Browns off to the side, because also this weekend, something that I thought bears noting in tennis, okay, and I think Greg Cody, we were both there in Key Biscayne when it was announced to sort of everyone at a 21-year-old Djokovic was going to be somebody who challenged Federer and Nadal, and he had not won majors yet then, but it was just clear to everyone in the sport, not that he would be this, because no one could have imagined him being 24 Grand Slams. No one could have imagined that. But with top Federer and Nadal, I don't want the football weekend to blow out the fact that after losing at the U.S. Open, after 17 years of dominance, he just said, yeah, after 5 sets, I can't beat those two guys. Mm-hmm. They are now too good. You do not hear somebody at his level of greatness just bow down and say, no, they're better now. It's obvious when you're still out there expecting him sometimes to win, but it's also obvious the young guys are going to have more stamina 5 sets than someone who's that age. He's going to age the way a tennis player must, not the way Aaron Rodgers all of a sudden did on Sunday.
Even in the Big Three era, though, when you had Federer, Djokovic, Nadal doing their thing, you had Wawrinka be feisty. You had Andy Murray come out for a brief moment in time. It was a Big Four. I'm watching the last few slams, and I'm like, man, I miss having a third guy in the mix because there is a wide gulf in the ATP ranks right now. Those two guys are really, really good. And when the third guy is Djokovic at the end of his career, you don't really have a third guy at this point.
You guys are with me, though. That level of greatness never says that out loud when it's still the third best player in the world.
Yeah, I thought it was refreshing. I really did. I give Djokovic credit for doing that. You know, Federer retired. Nadal is fading fast. Djokovic is the last of the big three.
Nadal's done. Nadal's retired.
Yeah, okay. Isn't he still playing?
No, he's famously retired.
Okay, so Djokovic.
Why you gotta say it like that?
Is the last man standing.
Because of how stubborn Greg is. Like, he's not going to concede the point. He's just not going to concede the point.
If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
But stubbornly and not immediately. If you're wrong, you're wrong.
Right.
Stubbornly and not immediately.
We had a bunch of emotional goodbyes to him.
Okay.
There were a lot of emotional goodbyes.
Yeah, you may be right.
Okay. I may be crazy.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
For me, the story is not so much the ATP ranks because ATP is there've always been like a consistent. There's always been a consistent final in the ATP for the last 25 years. On the WTA side, Serena spoiled us and kind of ruined that sport because you see a lot of challengers come and go at that sport. And for Sabalenka to have an extended period of run here where she's taking the slams, making the finals, while Coco is still inconsistent at this part in the career, I thought Sabalenka's consistency is the story and also Osaka's dream comeback falling just short. But the WTA was more interesting than the ATP side. And honestly, pretty disappointing tournament on the whole. Not a lot of shock results in that tournament. It was kind of a bummer.
You say not a lot of shock results. I'm telling you, though, that I know it's a small morsel, but it was shocking to me. I mean, Federer and Nadal never ceded the space to him that way, vocally just saying, these guys are now better than me. My time is done. Like, I'm not used to that level of greatness conceding. They never know. They always think they're going to come back. For him to say after 17 years of whatever that's done to his body, where he runs off, again, go read about Nadal's foot problems. He's going to be walking with pain for the rest of his life because he finished third among these two. I don't know what Federer's body's going to feel like because he's a robot who never showed you any emotion. But even at the end, he wasn't saying Djokovic is going to take my shit.
No, but he kind of sunset his career. He skipped a lot of tournaments and he wasn't really up for the fight once Djokovic finally hit his form, in part because Djokovic hit his form.
Happy birthday today to one of the best doing it in football. I can't wait to see what it is that she has to say about yesterday's results. Happy birthday to Mina Kimes.
Happy birthday to her. I don't care. Good luck.
Let's talk for a second about Steelers-Jets and the ending of that game. And Jalen Ramsey as part of Win Now Steelers. Signaling to all in that game, in that stadium, to the Jets, here's what the quarterback looks like when he's a part of a good organization. And we all know what he looked like when he was a part of a bad organization. All of a sudden today, and this is some kind of weird miracle that we're talking about Josh Allen, instead of the 4-time MVP of the league looked like somebody who can win a game on the road against the Jets in a way that he did not look like last season when the Jets had him throwing the ball 9 yards at a time. I have to be gas bag of the week in thinking that the Steelers were going to play football like Ben Roethlisberger played at the end. It's all 7-yard slants from here. And you can do that with DK Metcalf. But DK Metcalf will also get you 4 catches for 80 yards. And the Jets didn't have a whole lot of that, even with Garrett Wilson last year. To have the Jets lose that way, where the Win Now Steelers of we're an organization run right, give you Jalen Ramsey at the end taking out your best player. Garrett Wilson's the one you gave all the money at the end of that game. He loses it at the end because they asked him to make a play, and Jalen Ramsey took it from him. That's what Jalen Ramsey is. That's why he's there. And he won the game at the end. That's an entrance that gets you the kind of love in Pittsburgh where you create hope for a franchise because, wait a minute, the 4-time MVP is going to look like 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, throwing the ball down the field on a defense we know to be good. That's going to be our offense. We haven't had that offense here since Roethlisberger was taking us to the Super Bowl. We didn't have that offense here when Roethlisberger was in the last 3 or 4 years of his career and running around back there like a skyscraper with legs.
Can I give you a counterpoint on the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers? They needed Aaron Rodgers to go 22 of 30 for 244 yards and a touchdown to barely beat the Jets and score 17 points in the fourth quarter. Like, that's...
he had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. They had to score 17 points in the fourth quarter just to beat the Jets. Like, he's not going to do that every week. It's the Jets.
I know, but he did it on the road against the defense we think is good.
Defense.
And he was feeling himself after the game.
You spoke about the meeting with Aaron Glenn on McAfee a few months ago. Beating him, is there significance in that since he basically told you to your face that he didn't think you were right for that team?
Yes, that's what he did.
So there's significance in beating him for you?
I was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets.
He didn't have a game that looked like that all of last year. It was the lowest total on the board. People were expecting under 37.5, and it wasn't, and he did it to a good defense, and he did it playing offense that was not constipated. You don't have a lot more that could have felt better than that if you're a Steelers fan. It's exactly what they wanted this offseason to get Mike Tomlin, to get people away from him because they can win a game like that in the playoffs. They can outshoot you even if you have a good defense. Can we call Tim Reynolds and just ask him about what the interaction was like?
No.
Greg Cody's back in my day. Seeds.
Seeds. Seeds. Had a slice of watermelon lately? Popped a few grapes in your maw? Then you probably notice seeds are disappearing from fruit. And you probably see this as a good thing just because it makes life a little easier. We love us some convenience. In fact, it's a terrible thing, the de-seeding of us. Symbolically alone, the seed is the king of life. Adam gave his to Eve, and here we are, if you believe the story. If they take the seed out of humans the way we have watermelons, we're all dead ducks. Beans, peas, rice, corn, all seeds. Flour and oil started as seeds. All hail seeds. So what the hell is happening? In exchange for convenience, we are not valuing the seed's impact on health, biodiversity, and our food system. The genetic variability of most plants require seeds as essential to their evolution. De-seeded, artificially homogenized fruits rely on human intervention in the reproductive process, exposing the fruits to many pathogens. Plainly put, seedless fruits are not as good for you. They contain less fiber and have fewer minerals and vitamins than their seeded natural brethren. Seedless fruits also have fewer antioxidants, plant-based nutrients, and anti-inflammatory properties. But enough about this science. Bring back seeds because seeds are fun. Not to mention aesthetically and visually pleasing. Kids growing up today have sliced open a watermelon, have never sliced open a watermelon, and experienced the joy of seeing that juicy red flesh dotted with embedded black seeds. Nellie Doogie used to tell us if we swallowed a watermelon seed, a big melon would grow on our belly. It wasn't true. But as kids, we'd make a competition out of seed spitting. You extracted the big seeds from the melon flesh. Tongue only, never fingers or a utensil, and you'd see who could project a seed the farthest. Every summer we did that. This was before video games, kids. Made our own games and toys. Flew a kite, kicked a can, spit a seed. Grapes were the real challenge because the seeds were so much smaller. We had both pop a grape in our mouth, tongue moving, jaws in action, and whoever could spit out 3 seeds onto the table the fastest won. To this day, I carve real pumpkins and eschew the free fab foam and plastic fakes, mainly for the treasure trove of seeds inside. Hundreds and hundreds of them waiting to be scraped out, cleaned, and roasted in the oven to become delicious natural snacks. Respect, worship, and bring back the seeds. I need a t-shirt that says convenience is overrated. Insist to your local grocer that you'll take your watermelon seeded, please, and the grapes too. I'm Greg Cody, and that's how it was back in my day.
Yep. Journalism is dead.
But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay? It has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed. Your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you, okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he seeked reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It was great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke. You
said I
that-
did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But I'm
in.
okay. I'm okay
You're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt, you roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you know, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, you know what? Don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
Huh.
I couldn't believe that. That's how bad local television is struggling. That's the place that has arrived. And I told Chris Cody not to get into this business at all because it's terrible.
But Stephen A. Smith is making more money than he's ever made in his entire life. He has more power. He has more of everything than he's ever had in his entire life. You want him to give that up because of journalism?
Jackpocket is America's #1 lottery app. Play Powerball, Mega Millions, and even scratch-offs, all with just a couple of taps. New customers get $5 in lottery credits when you download the app, opt in, and use code SUPERFAN at sign-up. Go ahead, Dan.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate
You got it.
I appreciate you allowing me to go
Back
ahead.
to you, Dan.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Zaslow, you've been wanting to talk about Howard Stern for a week. People have been wondering how it is and where it is that a radio icon has been, because he gets very long vacations. He is part of a dying medium, but behind a paywall at SiriusXM, he has kept an industry alive because of all of his power and reach. And he just signed a 5-year contract extension today after doing one last bit here where Andy Cohen pretended like something had happened to Howard just because he was sick for a week and delayed his return. The people who follow Howard Stern do so with such loyalty that they keep in industry something that's behind a paywall that he doesn't feel like he can even quit because he's holding up a great deal of SiriusXM with his constituency. You've been wanting to talk about this for a week. He returns today and signs up for 5 more years where he'll have a huge vacation and spend a lot of time complaining about not wanting to be on the air.
Well, and it's funny because he did his show today. He finally returned after they did a bit where Andy Cohen did, I think what was a pre-recorded bit, as if he took over the show and people were free. Variety magazine put out a story and a tweet that Howard, he's gone, Andy Cohen's now. That was very embarrassing. But also, like, how embarrassing for some of these publications over the last couple weeks who were reporting that he's being fired. He just inked a 5-year extension. And it was funny because on the show today, he's talking about, even if I wanted to retire, I can't now. With all the reports, I have to stay.
It seems to be a long-running bit where he's being forced to stay. Someone forced his hand to sign this extension.
Is every 5 years he does this.
I wish I could
Charles
quit.
Barkley.
I can't quit right now. I wish I could.
That's a great shout by Billy. It's the Charles Barkley thing.
I mean, an out in your contract expiring means you don't actually have to.
This whole thing feels so calculated to me. Like, it's a publicity stunt, right? I mean, where's Howard? Why Howard was supposed to be back on today. Where is he?
And still, I will not dismiss the forever reinventing of yourself. So in your 70s, you could be this kind of valuable in a artifact media that you help change with some shock jock stuff. That still, even though people make fun of where his politics are now and how he's gotten overrun by the young men in the Rogan sphere, still monster relevant at a place that's behind a paywall that's keeping up in the streaming game with everybody else, and now is still trying to replace him with what feels like a radio lineup of Stephen A. Smith and Katie Nolan, and them trying to keep up in the modern age when behind a paywall is radio is not the most modern of ways to make business, but he is an icon who's reinvented himself over 4 decades. That's not up for dispute by anyone.
No, of course not.
Right?
It was interesting, though, these last couple of weeks while he was gone, and then another week where he delayed his return, and just all the talk about him being irrelevant and he doesn't matter anymore. I mean, look, this is an all-time radio giant who it feels like it's never going away. He's in his 70s. He's like 73 years old.
He's older than I am, for crying out loud.
And he has more time off than anybody because he is his own industry. Like nobody has, almost no one has that power, although Conan O'Brien begins to accrue it now in the shadow umbrella of what Howard built over there when they revolutionized media.
The Andy Cohen thing was a good bit. It was a good idea.
Well, it fooled a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yes.
I saw it first. I'm like, this seems like acting a little bit. Is this a work or is this legit? Because it did kind of lean into all the uncertainty surrounding the biggest bit of uncertainty was probably him delaying his return a week because you assumed, well, what's going on here? Are they trying to get some kind of exit in place? I thought it was a cool idea to stay relevant. People are talking about him today. Can he continue that discussion? Can he use this established narrative that he's kind of done? And look, he went woke and now he's going broke. The 5-year extension kind of thumbs its nose at that. But what kind of voice will Howard Stern have at this stage of his career? You cited the manosphere. His voice doesn't resonate with a younger audience. His audience is aging with him. How much influence does that audience now have?
Well, we now know, though, that the echo chambers, all of them, if you've got a giant loyal audience and contingency, and you take it with you from place to place, you have enormous value. And so his audience, though older, there's no disputing that. It's been overrun. The podcast sphere has been overrun by an assortment of young comedians who have altered everything up to and including a presidential election, because some of them in the young man sphere fed bad information to young people who weren't thinking for themselves. And then Andrew Schultz recused themselves from any of it by backing off. Howard Stern is an artifact from a different time. There is no disputing that. But his value is not up for dispute either, because I'd love to see the numbers on what that 5-year extension is. They are trying to help him keep up with Mad Dog and with Conan O'Brien, and it's hard to keep up behind a paywall as the streaming game changes and everyone's in the podcast industry. I saw a podcast, Mike, I don't even know what this is. I saw Shaquille O'Neal talking to, I think it was Kendrick Lamar, Tom Brady, Dana White on the roof of something, because everyone's come to the podcast sphere saying, I'll make daily shows.
I don't know what that was. You asked. I haven't seen that, but I assume that the number's lower. Possibly much lower, otherwise the number would have been out there.
But he's not going to keep doing it for into his late 70s.
It stands to reason that the number would be lower given how often he actually shows up, which is fewer and further between the deeper he gets into this career.
He's got the whole summer off.
Yeah, but at 71, if they say, you know what, let's give you $40 million instead of $100 million, you're like, nah. I can't live off $40 million.
It was obviously a good enough deal for Howard, who says he wish he could quit but can't right now. For him to still take the money, it's got to be worth his time. He's made a ton of money. But that wasn't the only thing going for an older audience. Last night, the VMAs tried to get us back.
Really?
Yeah. Dan, I don't know if you broke your 15-year streak of not watching award shows last night.
Mike, this is the first I'm hearing that the VMAs were last night.
That's impossible. It's impossible.
That's literally
impossible. They were advertising it in-game on your NFL slate.
I didn't know.
There was ads in my bathroom for it for the past month.
You guys
I didn't see it.
It's impossible.
You're just a liar. The VMAs were simulcast on CBS. This is the first time in the history of the VMAs that they've done that, and it took the 60 minutes time slot. So there's two pretty big heads up that
Mike, I was watching nothing but Red Zone yesterday.
Yes, but this was after that. No one believes
the
you.
commercials
This was after
were
football.
out of
Stop
control
it.
on Red Zone.
I didn't know.
Out of control
I
on
didn't
Red
see
Zone.
it. I didn't see it.
No one believes you.
Every CBS game had multiple
Why?
ads.
Why?
Tony Romo was talking about the.
What's different about our experience is that me, Roy, and Zaz are all telling you we didn't know it was last night, and you're just calling us live.
You, I didn't know the VMAs were last night. Who cares?
Even Greg knew.
Greg,
Everybody knew.
You two are just lying.
Yeah.
You're just lying. Anyways, so the VMAs were there, and they were very clearly trying to get us back. Us by the MTV generation. Even Dan, they were trying to grab you back. LL Cool J was kind of hosting. There was like a run where Jessica Simpson was a presenter, and Busta Rhymes was performing. And Ricky Martin performed.
In a tribute to Ozzy.
The tribute to Ozzy, where Steven Tyler and Joe Perry showed up. Ooh. They try to recreate the magic of Youngblood's Ozzy tribute Across the Pond. He did a couple of Ozzy numbers.
I wish
again.
I knew it was on.
So they were. You actually knew a ton of the people were on, who were featured in this show. They created new awards just to give more old people awards. Wow. And in the lead up to this, MTV was showing. Oh, the Mariah Carey thing was rough. Yeah. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but that didn't mean it wasn't still rough.
Let's not walk and sing.
LL Cool J.
Yeah, she should be standing still when she sings.
Whose idea is it to have her walk?
It's just so.
She can't be walking anymore.
Whose idea was it to have her walk?
She can't walk.
How's she supposed to get around?
She can't walk.
Who can't walk?
Should she crawl?
She can't walk?
She can't walk without
Why?
it being super awkward. Well, there are theories. But there was even one time where the plan was for her to walk across the stage, and her hand had to be held. It was
she's dainty.
It was very Ariana Grande introduced her. She's dainty. Mariah's got something else going on. But it was actually a pretty cool show. And They played to all
Wait
the
a minute.
nostalgia.
Hold on. Go ahead.
Cameras did not catch that.
No, please, Greg Cody, you're doing a visual here. Greg Cody is taking from the ways that you're describing this.
Right. That's not the way that I've been describing Mariah.
Look, he is doing what I believe is the universal symbol. Everyone should see it.
Guys, that was plenty reckless. We don't need to go there and fixate on it. All right,
I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about is the same thing that's been talked about Mariah Carey for 25 years. These are
Glass house over here throwing stones.
These are not new allegations when it comes to Mariah Carey being able to just walk and act a certain way. What? Are you guys just learning about this?
Like a diva.
Yeah,
that's her shtick.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. Either way, it was
didn't
pretty.
Say a word.
Why'd you make this awkward, Dad?
I didn't say a word.
You accused her of drinking. That's
I
not.
didn't.
That's
no,
what?
I didn't. Drinking? What are you talking about?
You accused. That's the symbol that you.
No, that's not a symbol.
What was it?
You were saying she was throwing them
like
back.
I was
That's
going
unfair.
like this over my shoulder.
That's
to
not.
refer to
That's
somebody
not.
back there.
Okay, I don't.
Guys, just because someone can't talk the same way that they used to and can't walk without assistance doesn't mean that they are
exactly.
That they've got something else.
I didn't
well
do
said.
that, Roy. We need to settle down here and have Mike stop complaining about us lying to him. Me and Zaslow and Roy.
Why would I lie?
That's what we don't know.
Are not lying to you. I guess we were watching. Maybe I watch commercials more passively than you do, okay? Because when I'm in the red zone, I'm not watching commercials.
Yeah, we were yesterday, a whole minute of them.
I didn't see commercials yesterday, is what I'm telling you, the way that I was watching Red Zone, and I didn't see any commercials for the VMAs. Is there anything else here worth talking about instead of the reckless things we're saying about Mariah Carey?
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. And also, have you ever seen a 60 Minutes in-game promo?
Yeah.
Okay, in place of the 60 Minutes in-game promos were the VMA promos. You guys are liars.
All I'm saying is they should have done a little bit of promotion for the VMAs.
Just incredible, just sizable liars. Here's the news, though.
No, they have the ticking stopwatch. That's how I noticed.
Here's
The
the
idea
news,
that
though.
someone's awarded the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award and you guys are unaware that it's happening is insane to me.
I mean, we don't believe them.
Insane.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
So they
gave
Busta Rhymes something called the Rock the Bells legend. It was just because they
Wow.
wanted to get old people over there to watch it.
That's big.
They gave Ricky Martin the Latin American Legend Award.
Wow.
So
Who is he up against?
Well, that's the thing about
Gloria
a legendary
Estefan.
award. That you're not up against anybody. They just bring you over here. By the way, Ricky Martin, he did a great compilation of his. He does look great. He did 6 songs. People were at their seats.
He has
6 songs?
Yeah, like
a medley.
little
One would
medley.
say.
Yeah, Busta did too. It was awesome. It was a great show. And for me, the news is this setting up something to come? Is MTV finally getting away from trying to be for the kids, realizing it's never going to be that, and just trying to get the people that are now in their 40s and above to rekindle some of that magic?
You know what they should do? You know what would really help? Doing a little promotion so I knew it was on.
That's what Power 96 did, by the way.
Yeah, throwbacks.
Now it's just throwbacks. Evie's still there.
You've lived long enough in this market to see Power 96 just punt on being contemporary and just said, in our glory days, we had a core audience just like Howard. We're just going to cater to that core audience. And I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, MTV has made this decision because it was aggressive and overt how they were trying to get people north of 40 to watch this. And I don't know if that was just because the CBS simulcast, although the CBS simulcast in itself was an admission. We're done trying to get teenagers. We're trying to get their parents.
Roy, I've got a top 5 football things that I'm not even going to be able to get to because we've got too many other football things to talk about. So number 5, and I've got an OLI to this list as well because there's just no time to talk about all of the football things from yesterday. So OLI, Deebo Samuel looks weird in Washington. Again, these are just things I'm not going to have time for. This is also OLI. It's weird, and I wasn't expecting it. I don't understand it. It's confusing to me. Younghoe Koo, I'm not used to him missing those. Don't have time for anything involved with that Saints game.
It wasn't a bad game. It was competitive.
Don't have time for anything in that Jags-Panthers game. All still OLI. These are all OLI.
A lot of OLI.
Trevor Lawrence.
Also OLI, the 49ers are going to really miss George Kittle, but they've got the easiest schedule in the league. Don't have time for any of that.
Seattle should have won that game.
Don't have time for that either. Don't have time for Raiders, Patriots. None of it, even though Geno Smith probably, we should talk about that. I think they're going to be
Brock Bowers
good
is
at
good.
offense.
But we don't have time.
Don't have time to talk about any of that.
He's not hurt for long.
Number 5 thing I don't have time to talk about. Penix's first down run at the goal line. That's number 5. Number 4. Penix's insane physicality of stretching out like that on 4th down to actually get to the goal line.
The broadcasters were stunned with the replay.
I don't it defied physics.
People forget 3 yards is 9 feet. Yeah. You can't just lay down on 1 3-yard line and get to the goal line. Like, it's 9 feet. That's like dunking a basketball standing up, plus minus a foot.
Number 3 thing I cannot get to, there is no time, is Jake Landman just having what has to be the greatest feeling a defender can have. There's a running back in the open field. I'm not going to try and tackle him. I'm simply going to perfectly punch the football. I'm not playing football. I'm simply punching someone who's coming out after me, and I'm winning the game in my first game as a big acquisition for a team that still has a quarterback that's rammed tough.
Great series.
I think his name's Nate, but we got it.
It's Landman.
Landman.
Wow. Landman. Just no time for it, though. We don't have time for that.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Also, don't.
Landman.
Yeah, it's a pop culture reference.
It's great.
It was on the VMAs last night. You missed it, Dan.
Yeah, we all were there.
Number 2, I don't have time to talk about why is Puka Nacua bleeding from the eye? Is it the eye? Is it above the eye? Why is there blood all over his face? And number 1 thing I do not have time to talk about is if it had been in the Super Bowl to end a game or just in a game that people were watching and not at the end of a loss where the Lions were embarrassed against the Packers, would we be arguing that Tesla made the greatest catch any of us had ever seen in a professional football game? I don't know how to pronounce that person's name. He's got 2 A's at the end of it. I thought that the catch that he made in that game seemed as impossible to me as the one that Odell Beckham made a bunch of years ago, a one-handed catch of straight absurdity. I don't know how he got in bounds.
And then the DeAndre Hopkins one blew it out of the water.
Right. And the Canes kid in the opener.
C.J. Daniels.
Yeah, even better. Yeah.
No time to talk about any of those things, because I want to talk about 4-time MVP Aaron Rodgers going into New York and how good that had to feel. It had to feel every bit as good as Garrett Wilson felt bad at the end of the game. Who felt best yesterday? Is it Josh Allen at the end of that game? Knowing that his team, he pulled it out, but we're all watching that and saying, oh, Baltimore's better than them. Baltimore just ran up and down the field, and if Baltimore didn't have one of the weirdest Achilles heels you've ever seen, which is that a good defense somehow at the end of the game somehow gets trampled again and again to introduce us to Tua, so many fourth quarters ago when he did it to Baltimore, and to do it to Baltimore more than any team in the league.
Aaron Rodgers, number 1, feels the best about what took place yesterday, and maybe a close second, I think, is Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is, however many years in New York, everyone's telling him he sucks. And the first time he went to a different team, now look, it was the Dolphins it was against, but the very first time that he's played on a different team, he had the best game of his career. So I think Aaron Rodgers is 1, but I think Daniel Jones is close number 2.
It's got to be Josh Allen. That was an impossible comeback. And I know that this is a thing with the Ravens. It's been a thing for several years. Since 2021, they have lost 8 games, having a 90% and over win probability. This is a thing. And they're kind of built to salt the game away. They have the greatest running threat ever at the position that touches the ball every time.
He was averaging 10 yards a carry last night.
I'm not sure how this even happens, and you have to look at the other side of the field and understand, they did things to blow that game. Josh Allen stole one. He had no business winning that. And the Ravens are more talented than Buffalo, but they were more talented than Buffalo last year. I think lost in the Lamar Jackson discussion because he's so impressive. He's so great running. He does so many amazing things. But that is as loaded as there is on offense in the league. They have really helped this guy out. There is no excuse for Lamar to not get this done. There is no excuse for Lamar to blow games like that. The other guy's finding ways to win it. Lamar's seemingly finding ways to blow it.
The thing that I would push back about Josh Allen feeling the best yesterday was what we saw from Josh Allen there yesterday. He was just being Josh Allen. Like Aaron Rodgers was able to say, see, my demise, you spoke a little bit too early, I'm still really good. Daniel Jones, like, you think I suck? No, now I'm on a competent team. Like, Josh Allen was being Josh Allen yesterday.
Aaron Rodgers, I could argue, wasn't even the happiest guy on his roster. Jalen Ramsey, that had to feel pretty good for him yesterday.
Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Who felt better at the end of yesterday's game, Aaron Rodgers or Jalen Ramsey? It's a great question, Chris, because excellent, sure, 4-time MVP. But in that sport, when you've gone from one team to another with the Dolphins, you, as a Dolphin, Jalen Ramsey, you all your life have known how to win. You're really excellent at what you do indisputably. You came and offered Miami your services and had problems with just about everyone in the locker room because you know how to win and not a whole lot of people around you in that locker room outside of Tyreek Hill also know. Jonnu Smith and him yesterday in Pittsburgh, winning that way. And Jalen Ramsey getting the moment late in his career that is, I'm still more physical, too, and I just robbed Garrett Wilson's soul in his own stadium to end this game and announced to all of Pittsburgh, hey, a winner came to town. You guys win. I win. Our MVP quarterback wins. How about we tell a different story than the one Tomlin's been telling on defense, 10 wins a season, but can't do anything in the playoffs because at the end he's getting the most he can out of his team, but he doesn't have historic winners on his team. They haven't had one of those since Roethlisberger. And so Jalen Ramsey comes to town, and that's how he introduces himself.
It's all the baggage with the Dolphins, and in that game, him and Garrett was just, what a feeling.
I know we're in love with the multiple-time MVP and the narrative and want to give all the credit to Aaron Rodgers too. But this is the first time in Aaron Rodgers' recent career where he's coming into a set program. We'll tell you who the offensive coordinator is. You're not going to handpick some guy that you're going to keep relevant, all right, who's going to tell us, hey, let's just keep Tim Boyle around. You're not going to be raising up the Joe Philbins of the world. You're going to conform to our way of doing things. This is the way it goes, and I actually do think Aaron Rodgers is being aided there. He is being boosted by the set culture of Pittsburgh, because if he has a say in who that offensive coordinator is, he has proven time and time again it'll be some mid dude. Now, I know people have their opinions about Arthur Smith, but Arthur Smith's a lot better than the Joe Schmoes that he's been putting at OC before.
It has been something to watch what happened in one game. I think all of us, in all the over-analysis around football and where it is the coach is responsible for someone's success and where it is the quarterback is responsible for a coach's success, we've seen what happened with Brady and Belichick is now winning his first game and saying more than he ever said as Patriots coach when he's saying, yeah, the reason that the Patriots aren't invited on our campus is because I'm not invited at their facility. Most revealing quote this man has ever had publicly because he's hurt at the end of his career, because it's got a sting to have your quarterback get all of the credit for the success that you contributed to. For Aaron Rodgers to eat the humbling of, your ego is great, 4-time MVP, and I know you think you can improve a historically dysfunctional organization where the young kids are running things with Woody Johnson. And for it to swallow you, you needed Aaron Rodgers to suffer that humbling in order for him to be receptive to all of the things where Pittsburgh can help him as much as he helps Pittsburgh to get a new ending to the rest of his career, because he's on a prove-it deal. And what you just saw is offense Pittsburgh hasn't had in a decade. And they've had skill guys who can run up and down the field, but down the field is not something I have seen from Pittsburgh in 10 years, and it's because they haven't had this quarterback since Roethlisberger.
And we think the Jets are a good defense.
I think everyone knows the Jets are a good defense.
And for all of this, that's why my vote goes to Aaron Rodgers as well for best feeling of the weekend. 41 years old, everybody's writing him off. In one game, he goes from not just being, a big-name stopgap quarterback for a year, he goes for being a guy that Steelers fans right now think they can win with this guy. He can change this team. He can be around for a couple of years. He can be Brady 2.0. That's what that opener meant.
I don't think it's not just that, though, Greg. I don't think people understand what just happened in Pittsburgh because it's not just that. They're tired of Mike Tomlin because they think where their standard is that 10-7 is mediocre because it can't win a playoff game. What they just injected into that city, a football city, is inordinate hope because can the offense be that on the road? They still needed a 60-yard field goal in that game. They could have easily lost that game.
That's why I wanted to jump in here because who knows what these two teams are going to be at the end of the season. And you say their offense hasn't looked like that in 10 years? Well, their defense hasn't looked like that in 10 years. No one was expecting Justin Fields and the New York Jets to move the ball like that on Pittsburgh. So I'm not – you're saying with certainty we think the Jets' defense will be – I'm not quite sure anymore. That was a weird-ass game, and the defense is going to have to be a hell of a lot better for Pittsburgh for this to actually be a real conversation because I'm not sure they fixed all that much.
It also seems impossible for Aaron Rodgers to keep up that pace and do that every week. So, this is a good story for Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think he's going to be able to do that every week. Can I make a nomination for a person who I think felt the best yesterday? DeAndre Hopkins. One-handed touchdown catch. It was one of two catches, but I don't think he cares that they lost. He had that one-handed catch. Everyone wrote him off last year. They said, oh, wow, he's going to come to Kansas City. He's gonna win a Super Bowl with the Chiefs. He was kind of a non-factor with the Chiefs. Then he has that one-handed catch for the touchdown yesterday. Oh, I think he had the best day out of everyone yesterday. He didn't care that he lost. Okay. If you think DeAndre Hopkins cares whether he won or lost, he doesn't care the outcome of that game. He had 2 catches. Yeah, he had 2 catches, but did you see the one-handed touchdown catch? I think yesterday DeAndre Hopkins considers a win for himself.
I would think he went to Baltimore only to win.
Billy, you're not wrong when you simply say of Aaron Rodgers because it's the proper analysis. It's one game. I'm merely saying that that's the best way for a one game to go for him to create the maximum amount of hope about the things that I'm talking about, that Pittsburgh can feel like we're going to be able to win shootouts and not have TJ Watt need to take the ball from the other quarterback in order to win a game. It couldn't have gone more hopefully than it did.
Easy schedule for them to start, too. They have Seattle and New England the next couple of weeks. You're probably 3-0 if you're Pittsburgh.
And that game was all Aaron Rodgers. He had no ground support. I think they ran 25 times for 60 yards or something like that. He doesn't have a Derrick Henry on that team. That's all him.
Gets a little dicey, though, after the Patriots.
Yeah, let's take a look at this thing.
Hosting the Vikings.
That's going to be tough.
And then you host the Browns.
All right, so 4-1.
Which 2 home games, and then you travel to Cincinnati, which that one's anyone's guess.
Yeah, 17-0.
I'm listening.
Then you host the Packers. And
season 2.0.
They looked good yesterday.
5-3.
Well, then Juggernaut's coming to town. The Colts.
5-4.
You don't know what that one's going to play out.
Chargers.
Travel across the country to the Chargers.
Now they're a game under.
Now Bengals again.
Game under.
At Chicago. We haven't seen Chicago yet.
500 again.
The Cobbler.
Then the Bills.
All right, I don't
then
want to.
the Ravens.
I'm sorry. All right, point
Dolphins.
taken. Point taken. I'm talking football too seriously. You're doing
At Detroit.
scheduled talk.
Ooh, is it snack time?
It is. I'm
At
going to
Browns.
interrupt what he's saying. And
Last game is the Ravens.
all right, I heard you, okay, but I'm sorry I have to do this to you.
Who's that for?
Minor penalty, 2 minutes for verbal diarrhea.
Chris?
Get out of here, Chris.
Hit the road, Jack.
That's for you, Billy Gill.
For
2
me?
minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry to do that to you. I'm having the dill peanuts. I really like these peanuts. They've been around the offices here for a couple of days. The flavored ones. I like the hot ones, but look, my mouth's watering. These are good peanuts.
The Hampton Farms peanuts are the best. We are going to have our weekly Let's See Who the Nuttiest Fan Is in College Football. It's brought to you by Hampton Farms, the official nut of the tailgate. Vote for your favorite nutty fan at Le Batard Show on Instagram. Keep an eye out for Lucy at West Virginia this week if you think you are your team's nuttiest fan. All right, Dan, here's what we got this week. We had a fan with a lemur at the UM game. There was a fan. I don't know if they snuck this in. I don't know if you're allowed to bring this in. We had a UM.
You can't be allowed to bring that in. What are you talking about? No, that can't be the emotional support.
I'll bet it's not on the ban list. You think it says lemur?
So we have a UM fan with a lemur and going against an Alabama fan. Now, this was before their last game against UL Monroe. And, an Alabama fan asked what she will do if she wins the lottery.
I'll tell you exactly what I'd do with the first $70 million. I'd pay off Kalen DeBoer and get him the heck out of the University of Alabama, and then I'd take whatever else it took to get rid of the AD.
Wow. That's not what I would do. Like, I'm out on the Dolphins right now. If I win the lottery, I'm not putting any of it towards getting rid of Mike McDaniel.
She has different likes than you.
That's true. So we have these two fans. What do you think's nuttier, Dan? Bringing a lemur into a stadium or spending your lottery winnings getting a coach out of town?
I think that feels like animal cruelty. I'm sorry because I was chewing into the microphone. I don't think people like that. I think that's an unpleasant thing that we do.
SMR.
ASMR.
Whatever.
And I heard that crunch, by the way.
Well,
SMR.
I tried not to eat into the microphone because it's pretty disgusting to eat into the microphone, but these are delicious. And
delightful Hampton Farms peanuts.
And they also trigger for me a childhood thing because this was the peanut was the greatest of the delicacies in my childhood. It's sporting events fun. It's baseball games with my father. It's being able to throw things on the floor and not have to pick them up.
That's the best part. I used to love going to Roadhouse Grill. Wait, I get to have the peanuts and just throw it on the floor?
But you can't bring a lemur into your stadium. That seems bad for the lemur. I don't care what we're doing with the
lemur seemed to be enjoying itself.
No. You
God,
think
no.
an animal is in a bag is going to be happy to be with 80,000 roaring people?
Did you see that pass that Carson Beck had to C.J. Daniels?
The lemur seems intrigued.
It wasn't 80,000, was it, Mike? You're very happy with Carson Beck's accuracy. You should be.
That lemur doesn't seem freaked out at all.
Lemur sounds like a car. I drive a 1978 Ford
You do
Lemur.
this all the time.
I am very excited about Carson Beck and the Miami Hurricanes. They look good. Hey, did you see that Oregon score? What the hell's happening with Oklahoma State?
I told you this last year. They're the worst team I saw anywhere in power football last year.
There were really strong indications.
You got to fire Mike Gundy.
There were really strong indications that he was going to be gone. In fact, there were people that I trust saying, like, he's pretty gone. And then he had a Hail Mary to save his job at the last second. Woo!
Do you ever hear anything about football and you're like, I don't trust you? Because you said people you trust.
Yeah.
Like everyone, you get a good nugget and you're like, damn it, I don't trust this person.
Yeah, no, you can be skeptical.
Who's your worst source?
Yeah.
I've never thought of it that way.
I didn't want to talk very much college football, but I did. I'm telling you that I was watching last year Oklahoma State, and I'm like, oh my God, they've left Mike Gundy behind.
They were supposed to be good last year.
His whole team is in tatters, and then you see that against Oregon, where they're a 30-point dog, and they're out of the game in the first half. They've got nothing.
That's as bad as you'll see like a P14 look on the road.
And going into the game, Mike Gundy's complaining about, Oregon, they have so much NIL money.
Did you
loser talk?
Did you see what happened with Duke over the weekend? Quote:
They
from,
lost at home to Illinois by 30 points. Illinois is good, right?
Yeah.
Quote from Manny Diaz: Illinois does this to everyone. Let's we can slow down a little bit. Hey,
he
Duke,
is such a loser.
Duke spent $4 million on their quarterback to establish a crazy quarterback market this offseason. All for that quarterback.
Take the peanuts away from him.
Yeah, what are we
All for that quarterback to now be an underdog
SMR.
at his former school against Tulane. Tulane is favored against a quarterback that left there and established a crazy market at $4 million.
You guys didn't see that Orioles game? Jackson Holiday. No, nobody cares. Nobody cares about
Last
baseball.
place baseball.
Matt Holliday's kid, right?
I mean, the Dodgers the Padres are a game back. The Dodgers don't look like.
You see that Clemson game?
These are great nuts.
That was a little scary for Clemson, huh?
Troy,
It's just a guy named Troy.
30-point dog.
Guy named Troy was up 16-0 at Clemson.
A Ford Troy.
That's a car too. I mean,
It does sound like a car.
The Ford Lemur. What sounds more like a car? The Ford, was it the Ford Lemur? Or
The Ford Lemur and the Chevrolet Tagliabue.
Yeah.
All right.
Those are cars.
Number one.
I want. All right. This is what I want to do. I want to have a contest here for Greg Cody in which we pair off what he believes to be the best car names that he could produce based on what it is that he believes sounds like a car name. So was it the Ford Lemur? Is that
Yeah, Ford Lemur.
the Chevrolet Tagliabue?
Actually, I think that's a Ford too. Let's make it a Ford Lemur versus a Ford Tagliabue.
All right.
That's good.
And what was the third one? There was a third one here. You're not going to remember because you're too busy.
Troy.
The Ford Troy.
No, that's not a Ford.
What is
No.
a Ford?
What is it, Troy? Chevrolet Troy, maybe.
Kia?
Maybe a Plymouth?
I think it sounds like a Dodge.
A
It's
Plymouth
Dodge
Troy.
Yeah, probably
Dodge Troy.
Yeah.
No, I think
Chrysler?
a Plymouth Troy. No?
No.
Do they make Plymouths anymore?
No.
I can see a Plymouth Sarkeesian.
Oh, I like that.
What about a Dodge
That's good.
Cristobal?
I would drive that.
Would you?
A Dodge Cristobal.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pickup. Like an F-150 type thing. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Dodge
I know.
Right.
Cristobal. I like that. Yeah, nice.
GMC. Yeah.
One more college football thing before I move to other things. I believe, Mike never said this publicly, but I believe that last week he was going to put the town on alert, University of South Florida over Florida. Billy Napier is in big trouble there, losing that game, losing it that way, and losing it again with another spitting incident. Another spitting incident. Like, what the hell? The last 10 days, Inter Miami, and finally there's been some measure from spit that dried up 10 days ago.
You can't play in the Leagues Cup anymore, Luis
wow.
Suarez.
Yeah, big deal.
6-game ban. Yeah.
Big deal.
Now, they do this across the world where you're randomly like suspended for competitions that are exclusive to that competition. No, he's got a Champions League ban, but he can just show up with his regular day job on the weekend. But those are, competitions that are taken seriously, whereas this is a Leagues Cup, and it's
Didn't they
very
just
strange.
lose the Leagues Cup?
Yes, but now they're suspended next year. Going forward, Luis Suarez, the next 6 Leagues Cup games, out. He
They
can't
won't
play
even
in
be in
those.
this country next year.
Wait a minute. Hold
Either
on
one
a
of 'em.
second.
Yeah.
I don't know what that meant. Well, hold on a second. Wait a minute. So he
the
could be
MLS
suspended for like 4 years worth of tournament games?
That's right.
That's insane.
But be readily available for the next time they take the field.
Okay. This is definitely a real league.
Ridiculous.
I was talking about the spitting incident in the Florida game.
I need some water. My mouth's dry.
Not because of the nuts. The
No.
nuts water your mouth.
Good news.
Yeah,
Marked
good nuts.
improvement for Florida, though. They only surrendered 7 tackles for loss. That is a huge upgrade over the 11 they surrendered to Long Island last week.
Dan, you see these next 3 weeks for the Gators?
Oh,
At LSU.
Okay, that's a win.
At Miami.
That's a loss.
Hosting Texas.
That's a loss. I don't got them beating LSU.
I was like, wow.
It's a win for LSU. That's 0-3.
That's hard times, Daddy.